you found exactly what you need tonight. Not by accident, but by something deeper, something written into your very cells. Your body already knows it's time to rest, and your mind is ready to receive what your ancestors have been trying to tell you for thousands of years. Feel yourself settling in, letting the day's tensions begin to melt away, because tonight is different. Tonight, you're going to discover the truth about who you really are. For 300,000 years, humans have found peace in stories told by firelight. Your ancestors sat in circles just like you're settling in now, ready to hear truths that changed everything they thought they knew. And tonight you're joining that ancient circle. The same stars they gazed upon shine above you now. The same DNA that flowed through their veins pulses through yours at this very moment. They've been waiting for you to hear their story, and finally, you're here. Imagine it's 40,000 years ago. The sun has set over the Ice Age landscape, and the first stars are appearing in a sky so clear it takes your breath away. A group of your ancestors gathers around a fire that crackles and pops, casting dancing shadows on the cave walls behind them. The warmth spreads outward in waves, pushing back the cold night air. You can almost feel it on your skin, can't you? That ancient warmth that's been calling to you across impossible distances of time. One of them, an elder with eyes that have seen countless winters, looks up at the sky and then down at their hands. There's something they know, something written in their very being that modern humans forgot. Something that scientists would only rediscover in the year 2010 when they cracked open ancient bones and found secrets that changed everything. This elder touches the earth beneath their feet, the same earth you rest upon tonight, and whispers a truth that echoes forward through time. We are not what we seem to be. Your DNA carries this secret. Every single cell in your body holds evidence of an impossible past. The history books you read, the documentaries you watched, the science classes you took, they were all wrong. Not slightly wrong. Fundamentally, completely, beautifully wrong. And your ancestors knew it all along. They knew because they lived it. They looked into the eyes of other types of humans and saw not monsters or strangers, but family. They held hands with species that aren't supposed to exist. They raised children who were impossible by modern definitions. And those children became your grandparents, thousands of generations removed. Tonight, as you begin to relax, as your breathing starts to match the ancient rhythm of sleeping ancestors, you're going to discover the truth they've been protecting. You'll learn about the ghost populations that flow through your veins, humans who left no bones, no artifacts, only whispers in your DNA. You'll meet the Neanderthals who aren't the brutes history painted them as, but your literal family members who gave you gifts you use every single day. You'll encounter the mysterious Denisovans, known from just 3 teeth and a finger bone, yet responsible for some of your most remarkable abilities. Feel your breath, slowing now, in and out, just like your ancestors breathed under those ancient stars. They're not gone, you know. They live in you. Every time your heart beats, it's beating with rhythms perfected over hundreds of thousands of years. Every time you take a breath, you're using lungs shaped by ice ages and migrations across impossible distances. Every time your immune system fights off an infection, it's using weapons forged in prehistoric battles against diseases that no longer exist. The elder by that fire 40,000 years ago is standing up now, walking toward the edge of the firelight. They're looking back at you across the centuries, across the impossible gulf of time, and they're smiling. Because they know something wonderful. They know that one day, their great-great-great-grandchildren would develop technology powerful enough to read the very code of life itself. They know that one day you would sit here, right where you are now, and finally hear the truth that's been encoded in your cells all along. Welcome home, they whisper, and the words drift forward through time. Welcome to your real family. Welcome to the truth of what you are. Not just one species, but many. Not just one story, but a symphony of impossible unions and beautiful hybridizations. You are the dream we dreamed on cold Ice Age nights. You are the hope we carried through ice and fire and endless winters. And tonight, you rest as we rested, held safe in the knowledge that you are so much more than you were ever told. Let that sink in as your eyes grow heavier. Your ancestors are gathering around you now from all the different species that made you. They're taking their positions as guardians of your sleep, protectors of your rest. Tonight you don't sleep alone. You sleep surrounded by 300,000 years of human history, all of it converging in this single moment, in this single breath, in the rising and falling of your chest. Tomorrow can wait. Your questions can wait. Right now, in this moment, all you need to know is that you're exactly where you need to be. Your ancestors called you here tonight, and you answered. The truth is waiting in the darkness ahead, written in DNA strands that spiral like ancient stories, holding secrets that will change everything. But first, you need to relax. First, you need to let go of what you thought you knew. First, you need to trust that what comes next is going to rewrite your understanding of what it means to be human. Feel the ancient fire warming you. Feel the presence of those who came before. Feel yourself becoming part of something vast and old and impossibly beautiful. Your journey back through time is just beginning, and your ancestors are holding the door open, waiting for you to step through. All you have to do is close your eyes, breathe deeply, and trust the DNA that's been guiding you all along. Welcome home. Welcome to the truth. Welcome to the night your ancestors have been waiting to share with you. You're safe here, safe to witness what others feared to see. The truth doesn't hurt when you're ready for it, and your body knows you're ready. Feel that safety settling around you like a warm blanket as we walk together into one of the most shocking moments in scientific history. A moment when everything humanity thought it knew crumbled like ancient pottery under careful hands. It's May 7th, 2010. In a laboratory in Leipzig, Germany, the air is cold and sterile, fluorescent lights humming overhead. A team of scientists gathers around computer screens, watching data stream in from machines that can read the very code of life. They've been working for years on something that seemed impossible, sequencing the complete genome of a Neanderthal, a species that died out 40,000 years ago. Most thought it couldn't be done. Ancient DNA degrades, becomes contaminated, turns to dust and fragments. But these scientists persisted, and on this day, they're about to see something that will shake them to their core. Dr. Svante Parbo, the leader of this team, leans forward as the final analysis completes. He's spent his entire career chasing ancient DNA, driven by questions that haunted him since childhood. Who were we? Where did we come from? What makes us human? Now, staring at his screen, he sees an answer he never expected. His hands begin to tremble. Not from cold. From the weight of what he's witnessing. The data is clear, unmistakable, impossible to deny. Every modern human whose ancestors left Africa, which means almost everyone alive today, carries Neanderthal DNA, not metaphorically, not symbolically, literally. 1 to 4% of your genetic code comes from a species that supposedly went extinct without mixing with yours. The textbooks were wrong. The lectures were wrong. The certainty that modern humans replaced Neanderthals without interbreeding was completely, utterly, beautifully wrong. Imagine the moment. Scientists who dedicated their lives to one understanding of human history suddenly watching that understanding dissolve. Some are crying. Others are laughing in disbelief. A few just sit in silence, trying to process what this means. Because it means everything. It means that when your ancestors left Africa and spread across the world, they didn't conquer or replace the humans already living in Europe and Asia. They fell in love with them. They built families with them. They created you. Let that settle in your mind as your breathing deepens. Your body is relaxing now, understanding at some deep level that this truth is liberating, not threatening. You are hybrid. You are mixed. You are the product of impossible unions that created something stronger than either parent species alone. This isn't a flaw in your heritage, it's your superpower. The scientists in that Leipzig laboratory realized they weren't just looking at ancient history. They were looking at themselves, at you, at every person who would hear this news and have to completely reimagine their family tree. The woman sitting next to Dr. Parbo discovers she has more Neanderthal DNA than anyone else on the team. She looks at her hands, modern human hands, she thought, and realizes they're shaped by genes perfected during ice ages she never knew were part of her story. Within weeks, the paper is published in Science magazine. The media explodes. Headlines scream about what this means. Comedians make jokes. People order DNA tests to find out their exact percentage. But beneath the noise and spectacle, something profound is happening. Humanity is waking up to its true nature. We are not pure. We are not one thing. We are a beautiful, messy, impossible hybrid of multiple human species who loved each other enough to create a future together. Feel yourself drifting deeper into this story as you drift deeper into relaxation. The two movements are connected now, your consciousness lowering as you descend through layers of history. Those scientists in 2010 opened a door that can never be closed. They proved what your DNA has been trying to tell you all along. You are more than you were told. Your family tree doesn't go back in a single line. It branches and merges and tangles in ways that would have seemed impossible just 15 years ago. But that was just the beginning. Within months, they found another species, Denisovans, named after the Siberian cave where a child's finger bone was discovered. 3 teeth, 1 finger bone. That's all they had. Yet, from those tiny fragments, they reconstructed an entire species of human that nobody knew existed. And the real shock? You carry their DNA too. Not just Neanderthal, Denisovan, and as research continued, geneticists found evidence of other populations, ghost lineages that left no bones at all, only genetic echoes in your cells. Your ancestors weren't picky about species boundaries. They saw other humans, whether Neanderthal, Denisovan, or species still unnamed, and they saw family. They saw potential partners. They saw people worth loving. And that love, that biological mingling, gave you advantages that help you survive to this very day. The immune genes that fought off diseases in prehistoric Europe. The adaptations that let Tibetans breathe at high altitudes. The cognitive abilities that combined the best of multiple human species into one remarkable whole. Tonight, as you continue to relax, as your mind grows quieter and your body grows heavier, let this truth wash over you. Those scientists in that cold German laboratory didn't just make a discovery about the past. They revealed something crucial about your present. Every breath you take is drawn by lungs shaped by multiple species. Every thought you think passes through a brain built by hybrid evolution. Every beat of your heart echoes the love stories of impossible unions that created you. The forbidden tombs have been opened. The ancient bones have spoken. And their message is clear. You are not what you were taught. You are something far more interesting, far more complex, far more beautiful. You are the living proof that love transcends species, that family is bigger than biology textbooks could imagine, and that the truth about human origins is stranger and more wonderful than any fiction. Rest in that knowledge. Let it comfort you. Your hybrid nature isn't a secret to hide, it's a gift to celebrate. And there's so much more to discover as we journey deeper into your genetic past. As you sink deeper into comfort, deeper into this journey through your genetic past, we need to talk about the humans who haunt your DNA. Ghost populations, scientists call them. Ancient humans who left no bones, no tools, no cave paintings, nothing but whispers in your genetic code. They're invisible to archaeology, but undeniable in biology. And they're part of your family tree. Imagine trying to solve a puzzle when some of the pieces are invisible. That's what happened when geneticists started comparing DNA from modern humans Neanderthals and Denisovans. The math didn't work. There were genetic sequences that couldn't have come from any known human species. Fragments of DNA that appeared in African populations, in Melanesian populations, in groups scattered across the world, sequences that pointed to ancestors who left no physical trace of their existence. Feel your mind relaxing around this mystery rather than trying to solve it. You don't need to understand every technical detail. You just need to know that you carry DNA from humans who never made it into the fossil record. They lived, they loved, they contributed to your genome, and then they vanished into time, except for the permanent mark they left in you. Scientists estimate that between 2 and 8% of your genome comes from archaic humans we can't identify. Think about that as your breathing slows. Up to 8% of your genetic code comes from ghosts, from humans so ancient, so few in number, or so unlucky in the fossil lottery that we'll probably never find their bones. Yet they're undeniably real because you exist. Your DNA proves they were here. The most fascinating ghost population was discovered in African genomes. When researchers mapped the genetic diversity of African populations, they found something stunning. Modern Africans carry DNA from at least 2 archaic human species that interbred with their ancestors between 300,000 and 500,000 years ago. That's before Neanderthals, before Denisovans, before modern human anatomy even fully developed. Your family tree goes back into mist so deep that even bones turn to dust. Let yourself drift with this knowledge. These ghost humans were your ancestors, just as surely as the grandparents you never met, but whose features you might carry. They shaped you in ways we're only beginning to understand. Perhaps they gave you disease resistance. Perhaps they contributed to the remarkable genetic diversity of African populations. Perhaps they're responsible for traits scientists haven't even identified yet. They're ghosts, but they're not gone. They live in every cell of your body. In West Africa, researchers found genetic evidence of an archaic human population that split from other humans nearly 700,000 years ago, then later interbred with the ancestors of modern West African. That's an unimaginable span of time, yet DNA preserves the evidence perfectly. These weren't Neanderthals or Denisovans. These were uniquely African archaic humans, and they contributed up to 8% of the genome in some populations. 8%? That's substantial. That's not contamination or error. That's family. Feel the presence of these ghost ancestors gathering around you as you rest. They may have left no bones, but they're here nonetheless. In your immune system, in the way your body processes nutrients, in subtle features of your face or the efficiency of your metabolism. They're the invisible guardians of your genetic heritage, the secret contributors to your hybrid nature. The same pattern appears in Melanesia and Southeast Asia. Populations there carry DNA from at least 2 unknown archaic human populations. Not Denisovan, not Neanderthal, something else. Something that lived and loved and passed its genes forward through time until they reached you. The technical term is introgression from unidentified archaic hominins. The human term is your family is bigger than you ever imagined. Your breathing is slow and steady now, matching the patient rhythm of genetic research that reveals these truths. Scientists spend years analyzing tiny differences in genetic code, building family trees from fragments, detecting the shadows of extinct populations in the DNA of living people. And what they've found is humbling. We don't know all of our ancestors. We probably never will. But we know they're there, written into our very being. Think of it this way, as your eyelids grow heavier. You're like a painting that's been restored, and the restoration revealed hidden layers underneath. Previous artists, previous hands, previous visions, all contributing to the final masterpiece. You're not just the top layer, you're all the layers together. The ghost populations are hidden beneath, but their brush strokes shaped what you became. Tonight, as you drift towards sleep, these ghost ancestors are with you. They don't need monuments or museums or fossil displays. They have something better. They have you. Your existence is their monument. Your DNA is their museum. Your life is the proof that they mattered, that their loves and lives and struggles weren't in vain. They reached across hundreds of thousands of years to touch you, and you carry them forward into the future. Rest in the knowledge that you're never alone. Your ancestors, both the ones we can name and the ghosts we can only detect, surround you with a protection older than history. They survived impossible odds to pass their genes to you. They mixed and merged and created something new in every generation until finally, improbably, beautifully, they created you. The ghosts are real, the ghosts are family, and the ghosts are sleeping peacefully tonight, knowing their legacy continues in your every breath. Feel your heartbeat, steady and strong, pumping blood through your veins with a rhythm perfected over hundreds of thousands of years. That heart carries Neanderthal DNA, not metaphorically, literally. Genes that were refined during ice ages, tested by harsh winters, and passed down through impossible unions until they reached you. Tonight, as you relax into this truth, we're going to meet the Neanderthal ancestors who live in your very cells. The word Neanderthal was an insult for so long. Primitive, brutish, stupid, less than human. But your DNA tells a different story. When your modern human ancestors left Africa around 60,000 years ago and spread into Europe and Asia, they encountered Neanderthals who had been living there for hundreds of thousands of years. These weren't monsters or subhumans. They were people. People adapted to survive in environments that would kill you within hours. People who had perfected the art of living through Ice Age winters that modern humans couldn't imagine enduring. Let yourself imagine that first meeting, somewhere in the Middle East, perhaps 55,000 years ago, under a sky brilliant with stars. Your modern human ancestor, newly arrived from Africa, encounters a group of Neanderthals. There's a moment of uncertainty, sure. They look different, shorter, more muscular, with pronounced brow ridges and broader noses. But then someone smiles. Someone offers food. Someone starts a conversation that changes everything. They didn't war. They didn't compete for resources and drive each other to extinction, at least not at first. They did something more profound. They fell in love. They built families together. They raised children who carried genes from both parent species, children who were stronger, more adaptable, more capable of surviving in the changing world. Those children are your direct ancestors. Their hybrid DNA flows through you right now. Feel your muscles relaxing as we explore what your Neanderthal ancestors gave you. First, your immune system. Neanderthals lived in Europe and Asia for 400,000 years before modern humans arrived. That's 400,000 years of exposure to local diseases, of natural selection refining immune responses to every pathogen those regions could throw at them. When modern humans arrived with no immunity to local diseases, interbreeding was literally life-saving. Neanderthal immune genes protected hybrid children from infections that would have killed purely modern human offspring. Today, you carry dozens of Neanderthal genes related to immune function. They help you fight off viruses and bacteria. During the COVID-19 pandemic, scientists discovered that some Neanderthal genes increased risk, but others provided protection. You're still using Ice Age immunity in the modern world. Every time you fight off a cold or resist an infection, thank your Neanderthal ancestors who survived plagues and diseases for 400,000 years to give you those gifts. Your skin and hair also carry Neanderthal influence. Genes affecting skin tone, hair color, hair texture, all influenced by Neanderthal DNA in European and Asian populations. Your Neanderthal ancestors had already adapted to lower UV radiation levels in northern latitudes. They developed skin that could efficiently produce vitamin D in darker climates. When modern humans moved into these regions, inheriting Neanderthal skin genes was crucial for survival. The genetic variants that give some people red hair, Neanderthal contribution. Certain skin tones perfectly adapted to specific climates, Neanderthal optimization over hundreds of millennia. Let your body sink deeper into comfort as you realize how much of you comes from these Ice Age survivors. Your pain tolerance has Neanderthal roots. Studies show that people with more Neanderthal DNA have altered pain perception, a gift from ancestors who needed to function despite injuries in environments where showing weakness meant death. Your circadian rhythms, your sleep-wake cycles carry Neanderthal influence. They adapted to long northern winters with extended darkness. Their sleep patterns were calibrated to environments where seasonal light variation was extreme. You inherited those adaptations. Even your mood and behavior have Neanderthal components. Genes affecting depression, addiction susceptibility, and other neurological traits show Neanderthal influence. This isn't good or bad, it's adaptation. Neanderthals survived by being cautious, by carefully assessing risks, by having emotional and behavioral patterns suited to Ice Age life. Some of those patterns persist in you, sometimes helping, sometimes challenging, but always connecting you to ancestors who faced unimaginable hardships and survived. Picture them now as your eyelids grow heavier. A Neanderthal family in a cave 50,000 years ago. Fire crackling, children playing, adults working on tools and clothing. They're not the brutish cavemen of cartoons. They're people, shorter and stronger than you, yes, but with brains as large as yours, with language, with art, with spirituality. They buried their dead with flowers. They cared for injured family members for years, keeping alive people who couldn't contribute to survival. Pure compassion. They made sophisticated tools and jewelry. They were human, just a different kind of human. When your modern human ancestor looked into the eyes of their Neanderthal partner 55,000 years ago, they didn't see an inferior species. They saw someone worth loving, someone worth building a life with, someone whose children would be precious and cherished. That love created you. Every Neanderthal gene you carry is a love letter sent forward through time, a biological valentine from species-crossed lovers who chose each other despite being different kinds of human. Your breathing is slow and peaceful now, matching the ancient rhythm of Neanderthal sleep. They slept in caves warmed by carefully tended fires, surrounded by family, protected by the strongest members of their group. Tonight you sleep with the same peace, knowing you carry their strength, their endurance, their survival instincts honed over nearly 500,000 years of Ice Age challenges. The Neanderthals aren't extinct. That's what you need to understand as you drift closer to sleep. They're not gone. They live in you. Every time your immune system defeats an infection, that's Neanderthal DNA working. Every time you tolerate cold better than expected, that's Ice Age adaptation. Every time you push through pain to accomplish something important, that's Neanderthal determination flowing through your muscles. You are not purely Homo sapiens. You are a hybrid, a mixture, a beautiful combination of modern human creativity and Neanderthal strength. Your brain inherited the best of both species, modern human social intelligence and language complexity, combined with Neanderthal spatial reasoning and visual memory. You're not less for being mixed. You're more. You're the successful fusion that combined the strengths of two human species into something capable of surviving anything. Rest now in the knowledge that your Neanderthal heart beats strong. The same heart that pumped blood through bodies that survived the worst ice ages Earth has seen. The same heart that kept going when temperatures dropped below anything humans face today. The same heart that powered bodies through hunts and migrations and winters that would kill modern humans within days. That heart is yours now. That strength is yours. That Ice Age resilience lives in your DNA, waiting to be called upon whenever you need it. Sleep well, hybrid human. Your Neanderthal ancestors are watching over you tonight, proud of how far their genes have traveled, grateful that their love stories created something as remarkable as you. As you sink deeper into this journey through your genetic heritage, we turn to the most mysterious human species of all, The Denisovans, known from 3 teeth, 1 finger bone, and a piece of skull, yet responsible for some of your most remarkable abilities. They're the phantoms of your family tree, barely visible to archaeology but undeniable in your DNA. Tonight, let their mystery soothe you rather than puzzle you, because they left you gifts you use every single day. The discovery happened almost by accident. In 2008, Russian archaeologists were excavating Denisova Cave in Siberia, a site where both Neanderthals and modern humans had lived at different times. They found a small finger bone, just the tip of a pinky, from a juvenile who died perhaps 80,000 years ago. The bone was sent to Svante Pääbo's laboratory in Leipzig, the same team that sequenced the Neanderthal genome. What they found astonished everyone. Feel yourself relaxing as you learn about this discovery. The DNA from that tiny finger bone told an impossible story. This wasn't a modern human.
Wasn't a Neanderthal either.
It was something completely unknown, a third species of human living at the same time as your other ancestors, interacting with them, and yes, creating families together. The scientific team named them after the cave, Denisovans. And then the real surprises began. Denisovans interbred extensively with your ancestors. Modern humans in Asia, Oceania, and the Americas carry Denisovan DNA. People from Papua New Guinea have up to 5% Denisovan ancestry, more archaic DNA than almost anyone else on Earth. Aboriginal Australians carry it. Southeast Asians carry it. Even some Native American populations show traces of Denisovan genes that crossed the Pacific thousands of years ago. But here's what makes Denisovans extraordinary. They gave modern humans adaptations that allow survival in extreme environments. The most famous example is Tibet. For years, scientists puzzled over how Tibetans could live and thrive at altitudes where other people struggled to breathe. The answer came from Denisovan DNA. A gene called EPS1, which regulates red blood cell production in low oxygen environments, was inherited by Tibetans from Denisovan ancestors. This gene allows Tibetans to live at altitudes above 4,000 meters without the health problems that affect other populations. Let that sink in as your breathing deepens naturally, effortlessly. Your ancestors didn't slowly evolve high-altitude adaptation over thousands of years. They borrowed it from Denisovans who had already perfected it over hundreds of thousands of years. Instant adaptation through interbreeding. Evolutionary fast-tracking through love and family creation. The Denisovans had lived in the mountains and high plateaus of Central Asia for so long that their bodies had completely solved the oxygen problem. When they shared that solution with your ancestors through their children, they gave the gift of survival in the highest places on Earth. But altitude adaptation isn't the only Denisovan gift. Research shows Denisovan genes also affect immune function, metabolism, and even brain development. Some Denisovan DNA influences how your body stores fat, crucial for surviving cold climates and food scarcity. Other Denisovan genes affect insulin production and glucose metabolism, potentially influencing diabetes risk in modern populations. They gave your ancestors the tools to survive in diverse, challenging environments, from frozen Siberia to tropical Pacific islands. Picture the Denisovans now as your mind grows quieter. We have so few fossils that we can barely imagine what they looked like. Analysis of the DNA suggests they might have been quite large, robust, powerful bodies adapted to harsh climates. Some researchers think they might have stood over 6 feet tall on average, with massive jaws and teeth larger than either modern humans or Neanderthals. They were giants of the prehistoric world, masters of mountains and cold, successful for hundreds of thousands of years before your modern human ancestors even left Africa. When those ancestors did leave Africa and spread across Asia, they met Denisovans multiple times in multiple places. This wasn't a single interbreeding event. Genetic evidence shows at least 3 separate populations of Denisovans mixed with modern humans. In southern China, in Southeast Asia, in New Guinea and nearby regions, each time children resulted. Each time, those children carried advantageous genes from both parent species. Each time, your family tree grew more complex and more capable. Feel yourself drifting as you imagine those meetings. A modern human group traveling through mountainous Central Asia 50,000 years ago, encountering Denisovans who knew every valley, every pass, every source of food and water.
Initial wariness giving way to communication.
Skills shared, knowledge exchanged, and eventually families formed. Children born who combined modern human traits with Denisovan adaptations. Those children are your direct ancestors, and they thrived because they inherited the best of both worlds. The mystery of the Denisovans is actually comforting in its way. We don't need to know exactly what they looked like or how they lived to know they were important. Their DNA speaks clearly enough. They were survivors, adapters, innovators who solved the problems of living in some of Earth's most challenging environments. And they were generous enough to share those solutions with your ancestors through the most intimate form of genetic transfer. Children raised together, families blending, genes flowing between species that enriched rather than competed. Your immune system uses Denisovan genes right now. Your metabolism processes food using pathways influenced by Denisovan DNA. If you have any Asian, Oceanic, or Native American ancestry, you almost certainly carry Denisovan fragments. They're not ghosts anymore. They're real, tangible, functional parts of your genetic makeup. Every day, you benefit from adaptations that took Denisovans hundreds of thousands of years to perfect. Rest now in the knowledge that these mysterious giants of prehistory haven't vanished. They live in you. When you climb to high altitude and adapt faster than expected, that might be Denisovan genes helping your body adjust. When your immune system fights off an infection, Denisovan DNA might be part of the defense. When you survive and thrive in challenging conditions, you're using tools inherited from ancestors who specialized in doing exactly that. The Denisovans dreamed of survival, of passing their knowledge forward, of children who would carry their gifts into the future. Those dreams came true in you. Sleep peacefully tonight, knowing that the most mysterious humans who ever lived are woven into your very being. Their dreams fulfilled in your existence, their survival guaranteed through the DNA you carry into tomorrow. Let yourself drift back to May 2010, to the week when everything changed. Not just for scientists, but for everyone. The week when humanity had to completely rewrite its understanding of who and what we are. Feel the significance of that moment settling over you like a warm blanket as we explore the discovery that united all humans in shared hybrid heritage. The Neanderthal genome paper, published in Science
Magazine on May 7, 2010.
didn't just add information to human history, it rewrote the story entirely. Up until that moment, the dominant narrative was clean and simple. Modern humans evolved in Africa, spread across the world, and replaced all other human species without mixing. We were the victors, the sole survivors, the only human species left standing. It was a story of replacement, of superiority, of being fundamentally different from those other, lesser humans. That story died in May 2010. The DNA evidence was undeniable. Every human whose ancestors came from outside Africa carries 1 to 4% Neanderthal DNA. Not some humans, not a few populations. Everyone whose ancestry isn't purely African. Europeans, Asians, Native Americans, Pacific Islanders, everyone. We weren't the pure replacement species. We were hybrids, all of us, carrying the genes of the humans we supposedly replaced. Feel your breathing slow as you absorb the unity in this discovery. The paper's findings meant that racial categories based on purity became instantly scientifically obsolete. There's no pure human race. There never was. We're all mixtures, all carrying DNA from multiple human species. The differences between modern populations are tiny compared to the shared heritage of being human hybrids. Every person of European descent shares Neanderthal ancestry. Every person of Asian descent carries both Neanderthal and Denisovan genes. We're united by our hybrid nature. The week the paper published, the internet exploded. Within hours, millions of people were Googling Neanderthal DNA and "Am I part Neanderthal?" Social media filled with jokes, memes, and genuine wonder. But beneath the humor was something profound. People were actually excited to learn they were hybrids. The insult Neanderthal transformed overnight into a badge of honor. Companies offering DNA testing saw their orders skyrocket as people rushed to find out their exact percentages. Let your mind relax around this collective revelation. In that 1 week, humanity's family photo changed from a simple tree to a braided stream. Our ancestry wasn't a ladder climbing from primitive to advanced. It was a network, a web of connections and mixings and mergings that created something more robust than any pure lineage could have been. The branching tree of human evolution, shown in every textbook for decades, was replaced by a tangled bush where different branches reconnected and merged. Scientists who had spent careers believing one story suddenly had to absorb a completely different narrative. Some struggled with it. Most felt liberated. One researcher described the feeling as like finding out your family is much bigger than you thought, and realizing that makes you stronger, not weaker. The paper's authors received thousands of emails from people around the world, thanking them for expanding humanity's sense of family. Think about what this meant for identity. Before May 2010, people could claim pure ancestry, could draw bright lines between us and them, could imagine their lineage as unmixed and special. After May 2010, those claims became scientifically impossible. We're all mixed.
All hybrid, all carrying DNA from multiple human species.
The foundation for claiming genetic superiority crumbled because there's no pure human baseline to be superior to. We're all mongrels in the best possible sense. Your eyelids are growing heavier now as you contemplate your place in this united hybrid family. You're not alone in your mixed heritage. You share it with billions of other humans. The Neanderthal genes flowing through European veins also flow through Asian bodies. The Denisovan DNA in Pacific Islanders connects them to people in Tibet and Southeast Asia. We're all related in ways that transcend modern borders and cultural divisions. The beauty of May 2010 wasn't just the scientific discovery, it was the collective human response. People didn't reject their hybrid nature. They embraced it. Museums updated their exhibits. Textbooks began the long process of revision. Documentaries scrambled to incorporate the new understanding. And ordinary people, sitting at computers around the world,
Learned that they were more interesting, more complex.
more connected than they'd ever imagined. Feel the comfort in this shared experience as your body grows heavier, more relaxed. You're part of a species that discovered its true hybrid nature and celebrated rather than mourned. A species that looked at genetic evidence of ancient interbreeding and saw not contamination, but enrichment. That week in May 2010 was humanity growing up, accepting its complex heritage, and recognizing that diversity and mixing have always been our strength.
Not our weakness. Rest in the knowledge that your identity expanded that week along with everyone else's. You became part of a bigger story.
A longer history, a more fascinating family tree. The week everyone's ancestry changed forever was the week humanity became more humble, more connected, and more aware of the beautiful complexity that created us. Sleep peacefully in that knowledge, knowing you share this hybrid heritage with billions of others, all of you carrying the gifts of multiple human species, all of you proof that love and family transcend the boundaries science once thought absolute. As you drift deeper into relaxation, we need to return to the beginning, to Africa, the cradle of humanity, where the story is even more complex than scientists initially realized. Your mind is quiet now, ready to absorb truths about the deepest, oldest, most fundamental mixing that created modern humans. Africa holds secrets that make Neanderthal and Denisovan interbreeding look recent by comparison. For years after the Neanderthal genome revelation, there was an assumption that Africans were genetically pure, unmixed with archaic humans. After
All modern humans evolved in Africa, and Neanderthals and Denisovans lived outside Africa.
the mixing happened when modern humans left Africa and encountered other human species elsewhere, right? Wrong. So beautifully, fascinatingly wrong. When geneticists finally had the technology and funding to deeply sequence African genomes, they found something stunning. Africans carry DNA from archaic human populations that interbred with their ancestors between 300,000 and 500,000 years ago. That's before Neanderthals fully evolved, before Denisovans split off, before modern human anatomy even emerged. The mixing in Africa is older, deeper, more fundamental than anything that happened outside Africa. Let your breathing slow to match the ancient rhythm of these discoveries. The archaic humans in Africa weren't Neanderthals. They were earlier, different populations, human species or subspecies that diverged from our lineage hundreds of thousands of years before the out-of-Africa migrations. They lived in African forests, African savannas, African mountains, adapting to local environments over vast stretches of time. And when anatomically modern humans began emerging in Africa, they didn't replace these archaic populations cleanly. They mixed with them, creating the genetic diversity that characterizes African populations today. Studies of West African populations show evidence of archaic human ancestry from a population that split from other humans nearly 700,000 years ago. 700,000 years. Let that sink in as your body grows heavier. These weren't recent cousins. These were humans so far back in time that their separation from your lineage predates multiple ice ages, massive climate shifts, and countless evolutionary changes. Yet they still interbred successfully with your modern human ancestors, producing viable, successful offspring who became your direct ancestors. The genetic signature shows that some West African populations carry up to 8% DNA from this archaic source, more than most people carry from Neanderthals. 8% of the genome coming from humans who diverged before 500,000 years ago. That's substantial. That's not genetic drift or contamination. That's major interbreeding events that shape the genetic landscape of African populations. Feel yourself sinking deeper as you imagine these encounters. Dense African forests 400,000 years ago. Different human populations living in proximity, occasionally meeting at water sources, at good hunting grounds, at seasonal gathering places. Initially wary, eventually communicating, ultimately forming relationships that produced children. Those children carried traits from both parent populations, the innovations of newer anatomical forms combined with the adaptations of archaic humans who'd lived in specific African environments for hundreds of thousands of years. This mixing gave your African ancestors advantages. Archaic humans had already adapted to local diseases, local climates, local food sources. Their immune genes, their metabolic pathways, their physical adaptations were honed by hundreds of millennia of natural selection in specific African environments. When modern humans incorporated these genes through interbreeding, they inherited instant adaptation, no waiting for random mutations and slow selection. Immediate access to genetic solutions developed over vast timescales. Central and East African populations show similar patterns. Different archaic populations, different mixing events, all contributing to the remarkable genetic diversity of African peoples. This diversity isn't just interesting, it's protective. African populations have the highest genetic diversity of any humans on Earth, partly because they carry DNA from multiple archaic sources mixed with modern human innovations. This diversity provides resilience, adaptability, and a rich genetic toolkit for responding to challenges. Your mind is very quiet now, absorbing these truths without effort. The picture emerging is clear. Interbreeding wasn't an exception. It was the rule. Wherever different human populations encountered each other, in Africa, in Europe, in Asia, in Oceania, they mixed. They created hybrid offspring. They enriched each other's gene pools. This pattern repeated throughout human history because it worked. Hybrid vigor, scientists call it. The offspring of diverse parents are often stronger, healthier, more adaptable than offspring from genetically similar parents. Africa's archaic populations have names now, tentatively assigned by researchers. Archaic Africans 1 and 2 in scientific papers, waiting for better fossils to give them proper identities. But names don't matter as much as their contribution. They shaped the genetic foundation of humanity. They provided the diversity that allowed modern humans to eventually leave Africa and succeed in every environment Earth offered. Without these archaic Africans mixing with your ancestors, the human story might have ended very differently. Consider how this changes the narrative of human origins. We didn't arise from a single, pure population that evolved in one place and then spread. We arose from constant mixing, constant gene flow, constant interbreeding between populations with deep roots in different times and places. Pure human lineage is a myth. We've been hybrids from the very beginning, since before we even looked fully modern. Mixing made us who we are. Feel the ancient African presence surrounding you as you sink towards sleep. The oldest human ancestors, the deepest genetic roots, all traced to Africa, where mixing began long before recorded history. The continent that birthed humanity also birthed the hybrid nature that defines us. Every human alive today carries some genetic heritage that traces to African mixing events, whether directly through African ancestry or indirectly through the modern humans who left Africa carrying those ancient, mixed genes with them. Rest now in the knowledge that your family tree goes deeper than you imagined. Not just back to 50,000-year-old Neanderthal mixing or 80,000-year-old Denisovan encounters, but back hundreds of thousands of years to archaic African humans whose names we don't know but whose DNA we carry. They're your ancestors just as surely as any more recent population. They contributed to your immune system, your metabolism, your adaptability. They're the hidden foundation of your genetic house, invisible but essential. Sleep peacefully, knowing that Africa's archaic ancestors are watching over you too. They survived for hundreds of thousands of years, adapted to Africa's diverse environments, and eventually contributed to every human lineage through the modern humans who carried their genes out of Africa and across the world. You are their descendant, their legacy, their triumph over time. The oldest mixing created you just as surely as the most recent. Welcome home to your deepest genetic roots. Your breathing is slow and steady now, your body deeply relaxed, ready to understand something truly profound about your genetic heritage. There were times, places, and peoples where 4 different human species came together, not in conflict, but in family. Your ancestors stood at the crossroads of humanity and chose love over separation, creating children who carried the gifts of multiple human species in one body. Tonight, you rest as they rested, whole and hybrid and perfect. Picture the Middle East approximately 50,000 to 40,000 years ago. This region, what we now call the Levant, stretching from modern Turkey through Syria and Israel to Arabia, was a crossroads of the prehistoric world, a land bridge between Africa, Europe, and Asia. And in this crucial place, something remarkable happened. Modern humans migrating out of Africa encountered Neanderthals who had lived in the region for thousands of years. But that's not all. Denisovans also ranged through these areas, their territory overlapping with both modern humans and Neanderthals. And genetic evidence suggests archaic African populations had also contributed to the gene pools mixing in this region. Let your mind's eye see this ancient crossroads as your consciousness drifts lower. Valleys with reliable water sources, caves offering shelter, abundant game animals migrating through on seasonal routes, rich plant resources varying by season. This wasn't marginal territory, it was prime real estate in the prehistoric world. Multiple human populations were drawn here, and they didn't just coexist, they merged. Imagine a camp where children play together, some with the robust build characteristic of Neanderthals, others with the gracile features of modern humans, still others showing mixed traits from multiple ancestries. Parents watching these children with the universal warmth humans have always felt for their offspring, unconcerned with which genetic background each child carries. What mattered was family, community, survival through cooperation. The children themselves were living proof that different human species could create viable, healthy, successful offspring together. Feel yourself sinking deeper as you contemplate what this means. Your ancestors didn't maintain pure bloodlines. They didn't enforce species boundaries. When they met other humans, different as those humans might look, they saw potential partners, potential family members, potential parents for children who might be stronger than either parent alone. This wasn't naive idealism. It was practical evolutionary strategy, and it worked brilliantly. Genetic studies reveal that some individual modern humans from this time and place carried DNA from at least 4 sources: modern human African ancestry, Neanderthal genes from European and Middle Eastern populations, Denisovan DNA from Asian Denisovan groups, and archaic African ancestry inherited before the out-of-Africa migrations. 4 different human lineages converging in single individuals, creating genetic diversity unprecedented in human history. This diversity was advantageous. Neanderthal genes provided immune system upgrades for diseases prevalent in non-African environments. Denisovan DNA contributed adaptations for altitude and cold resistance. Modern human genes brought innovations in social intelligence and linguistic complexity. Archaic African genes provided the deep genetic diversity that allows populations to respond to novel challenges. The hybrid children combined all these advantages, creating humans more adaptable than any pure lineage could produce. Your body is very relaxed now, understanding at a cellular level that your hybrid nature is your strength. Those 4 species ancestors faced challenges that would destroy pure populations. Climate instability, changing environments,
New diseases, resource competition.
Yet they not only survived, they thrived. They spread across continents. They adapted to environments from tropical forests to Arctic tundra. They became the most successful large mammal Earth has ever known. And they did it through mixing, not purity. Think of the practical dynamics as you drift closer to sleep. A hunting party composed of modern humans and Neanderthals, combining modern human endurance, running with Neanderthal strength and cold resistance. Knowledge sharing around evening fires, with Neanderthals teaching Ice Age survival techniques and modern humans contributing innovations in tool design and social organization. Denisovans bringing mountain and high-altitude expertise. Archaic African genetic heritage providing disease resistance. Each population contributing what they did best, all benefiting from the exchange. The children of these unions weren't confused or weak. They were Renaissance humans, combining capabilities from multiple lineages, inheriting the best traits available in the prehistoric gene pool. Some modern humans today still show this remarkable diversity. Your genome might contain Neanderthal genes on some chromosomes, Denisovan genes on others, with modern human and archaic African sequences interspersed throughout. You're not one thing. You're a living museum of human diversity, a walking testament to successful hybridization. Feel the presence of all 4 ancestral groups gathering around you as you sink towards sleep. They're not competing for your allegiance or identity. They're unified in you, working together in every cell, their ancient advantages still providing benefits. When your immune system fights infections, it might be calling on Neanderthal genes. When you adapt to high altitude, Denisovan sequences activate. When you solve complex social problems, modern human neural wiring engages. When you show resilience against disease, archaic African diversity provides the toolkit. You're not divided, you're integrated. This integration wasn't always smooth or easy. Some gene combinations didn't work well, and natural selection removed them over generations. Other combinations proved so advantageous they spread rapidly through populations. The genetic landscape you inherited has been refined by thousands of generations of trial and testing, keeping what works and discarding what doesn't. You carry the successful experiments, the beneficial mergers, the hybrid vigor that allowed your ancestors to conquer the world. Rest now in the profound knowledge that you've never been just one thing. The question, what are you, has no simple answer, because you're the product of multiple human species loving each other across boundaries that science once thought absolute. You're Neanderthal and Denisovan and modern human and archaic African, all woven together so seamlessly that separating the threads would destroy the tapestry. This isn't confusion, it's wholeness. This isn't dilution, it's enrichment. Your ancestors at that Middle Eastern crossroads 45,000 years ago chose inclusion over exclusion, curiosity over fear, love over separation. They chose to create you. Every mixing event was a choice, a relationship, a family formed across species lines. Those families thrived, their children spread across the world. And now you rest here, the living proof that their choice was right. 4 species became one hybrid humanity, and that hybrid humanity achieved what no pure species could. Sleep peacefully tonight, knowing you carry the strength of 4 human lineages. You're not divided into parts, you're multiplied into wholeness. Every species that contributed to you succeeded in its ultimate goal, survival into the future. They survive in you, unified, working together, creating something stronger than any of them were alone. Welcome to your complete self. Welcome to your 4-fold heritage. Welcome to the hybrid human family that conquered the world through love. Let your mind drift now to something that sounds like pure fantasy but is absolute scientific fact. Tiny humans, standing just over 3 feet tall, living on a tropical island until perhaps 50,000 years ago. Real hobbits, though scientists call them Homo floresiensis. Your breathing is slow and steady as we explore these remarkable people who prove that human evolution is far stranger
and more wonderful than anyone imagined. The Wire
discovery happened in 2003 on the Indonesian island of Flores in a cave called Liang Bua. Archaeologists excavating for evidence of early human migration through Southeast Asia found something they couldn't explain. A skull, clearly human, but impossibly small. An adult female, they determined from the bones, but standing only about 106 centimeters tall, 3.5 feet. Her brain was the size of a chimpanzee's brain, about 400 cubic centimeters. Yet the stone tools found with her were sophisticated, requiring planning and skill to create. Feel yourself relaxing deeper as you imagine this discovery. The archaeologists initially thought they'd found a child with a developmental disorder, but then they found more skeletons, and more, all similarly small.
All adults.
All showing the same proportions. This wasn't disease or abnormality. This was a population, a distinct human species that had evolved on Flores Island for perhaps hundreds of thousands of years, shrinking over time through a process called island dwarfism. Island dwarfism happens when large animals colonize islands with limited resources. Over thousands of generations, natural selection favors smaller individuals who need less food, less territory, less resources to survive. It happened to elephants on Mediterranean islands who evolved into pygmy elephants. It happened to deer on various islands worldwide. And it happened to humans on Flores, creating the smallest human species that ever existed. Your eyelids are growing heavier as you contemplate these tiny people living their lives on a tropical island. They weren't primitive despite their small size and small brains. The archaeological evidence shows they used fire, created sophisticated stone tools, hunted the island's pygmy elephants, and possibly used boats to reach the island in the first place. They survived for potentially hundreds of thousands of years, making them one of the most successful human species by longevity. Size doesn't determine capability, and the hobbits proved it. The most remarkable thing? They survived until around 50,000 years ago. Modern humans reached Southeast Asia and Australia by 65,000 years ago. The timelines overlap. Your modern human ancestors and Homo floresiensis coexisted in the same region of the world. Did they meet? Did they interact? The fossil evidence doesn't yet tell us, but genetic studies of modern populations in the region are beginning to reveal intriguing possibilities. Let your body sink deeper into comfort as we explore these possibilities. Some researchers have found genetic signatures in modern Indonesian and
Melanesian populations that don't match Neanderthal or Denisovan DNA. Could some of these
mystery sequences come from Homo floresiensis or related dwarf human species? Research is ongoing, but the possibility is tantalizing. You might carry DNA from hobbits, from 3-foot-tall humans who lived on tropical islands and proved that humanity comes in all sizes. The hobbits changed everything about how scientists understand human evolution. Before their discovery, there was an assumption that human evolution was a steady progression toward larger brains and taller bodies. We were supposed to be getting bigger and smarter over time. Homo floresiensis shattered that assumption.
evolution doesn't have a direction?
It has adaptation. On Flores Island, smaller was better, and evolution made humans smaller, right down to bodies that would look at home in Middle-earth. Feel the wonder of this without excitement, just gentle amazement settling over you like a soft blanket. The human family is bigger and stranger than fantasy novels imagined. Giants and hobbits both existed, both were human, both were successful. The diversity of human forms that coexisted 50,000 years ago rivaled the diversity in science fiction stories. Yet it was all real, all documented in fossil evidence and genetic sequences. The hobbits also prove something crucial about human adaptability as your breathing slows to the rhythm of deep relaxation. Humans can evolve to fit almost any environment. Need to survive on a small island with limited food? Evolve smaller bodies. Need to hunt enormous prey in Ice Age Europe? Evolve massive strength like Neanderthals. Need to breathe thin air at high altitude? Get Denisovan genes for oxygen processing. Need to survive in tropical heat? Adapt body proportions for heat dissipation. Humanity is endlessly flexible, endlessly adaptable, capable of becoming whatever form best suits survival in a given environment. Picture a world 50,000 years ago as you drift even deeper. Full-size modern humans in Africa and the Middle East. Stocky, powerful Neanderthals in Europe and Western Asia. Tall, robust Denisovans in Siberia and Central Asia. Tiny Homo floresiensis on Flores Island. And possibly other human species we haven't discovered yet, living in pockets of Africa or Asia, adapting to local environments in ways that created distinct forms. The world was full of humans, all different, all successful, all solving the problem of survival in their own unique ways. Your ancestors, modern humans, with their particular adaptations, were just one player in this diverse human world. They weren't obviously superior. Neanderthals were stronger. Denisovans were possibly larger. Hobbits were better adapted to island life. Each human species had advantages in specific environments. Yet modern humans had one crucial advantage. They mixed freely with other human species, borrowing genetic innovations through interbreeding. That flexibility, that willingness to incorporate rather than exclude, may be what allowed modern human genes to ultimately spread worldwide. Feel yourself becoming very drowsy now as you realize the hobbits represent something beautiful about human evolution. They prove that there's no single right way to be human. Big brains aren't necessary for culture and tool use. Large bodies aren't necessary for success. What matters is adaptation to your environment, whatever that environment is. The hobbits adapted perfectly to Flores Island and survived for longer than modern humans have existed as a distinct species. That's not failure, that's remarkable success. Modern discoveries on Flores have revealed even more surprises. Earlier fossils from hundreds of thousands of years ago show that the ancestors of Homo floresiensis were also small, suggesting the species maintained small size for an incredibly long time. They weren't dwarfing from larger ancestors recently. They'd been small for potentially 700,000 years. In that time, modern humans went through massive changes in body form, brain size, and behavior. The hobbits stayed stable, perfected for their island existence. Proof that if a form works, evolution maintains it. Rest in the knowledge that the human family includes hobbits as your consciousness settles towards sleep. They weren't mythical. They were real people, 3 feet tall, living complete human lives on a tropical island, while your ancestors spread across continents. They made tools, controlled fire, told stories around those fires, raised children who learned from their parents, and survived for hundreds of millennia. They were successful humans, just in a different package than you're accustomed to. Sleep now knowing that humanity is diverse beyond imagination, that humans came in all sizes and shapes and brain volumes, and that this diversity is something to celebrate. The hobbits prove that there are many ways to be successfully human. Your way isn't the only way. It's just one solution among many, all of them valid, all of them proof that humanity adapts and survives no matter what form it takes. Dream of small humans on tropical islands, living their lives with the same joys and struggles you experience. Family and community mattering more than size, success measured in survival rather than inches. The hobbits were real, and they were human, and they were magnificent. As you sink deeper into relaxation, deeper into this journey through humanity's astonishing diversity, we turn now from the smallest humans to possibly the largest. The Denisovans, those mysterious ancestors known from just a few fossils, might have been giants, 8 feet tall or more, with bones and teeth substantially larger than any other human species. Your breathing is slow and peaceful as you imagine these massive humans walking the earth alongside your other ancestors. The clues come from the few physical remains we have. The molar teeth found in Denisova Cave are enormous, larger than Neanderthal teeth, larger than modern human teeth, even larger than the teeth of earlier human species like Homo erectus. Teeth scale with body size in predictable ways. Large teeth indicate large jaws, which indicate large skulls, which indicate large bodies. When scientists calculated the probable body size of Denisovans based on their dental remains, the numbers were stunning. 8 feet tall, possibly larger, with proportionally massive builds to support their height. Feel your body growing heavier, more relaxed, as you picture these giants. Not clumsy or slow, but powerful and graceful, adapted to environments where size provided advantages. Hunting the megafauna of Ice Age Asia, giant elk, woolly rhinoceros, perhaps even mammoth. Surviving in cold Siberian climates where large body size helps retain heat according to basic physics. Traveling vast distances across mountains and plateaus where long legs and enormous endurance proved crucial. The Denisovans were built for the challenges of Ice Age Asia, and size was their evolutionary solution. Now imagine the meeting between your modern human ancestors and these giants. Your ancestors, standing perhaps 5.5 feet tall on average, encountering humans who towered over them by 2 feet or more. Initial fear perhaps giving way to curiosity when these giants showed no aggression. Communication happening despite the dramatic size difference, both groups recognizing the humanity in each other despite physical disparity, and eventually, inevitably, relationships forming that would create children and change human evolution forever. Let your mind relax around this image as your breathing deepens into sleep rhythm. The archaeological and genetic evidence suggests these meetings happened multiple times in multiple places across Asia, and children resulted from unions between giants and regular-sized humans. Those children would have been intermediate in size, carrying genes from both parent populations. They inherited advantages from both sides, the social intelligence and adaptability of modern humans combined with the
Massive strength and environmental
adaptations of Denisovan giants. These hybrid children thrived in ways neither parent population could match alone. They had the strength to tackle physically demanding challenges, but also the social sophistication to form cooperative groups. They could survive harsh conditions their modern human relatives couldn't endure, yet they maintained the flexibility and creativity that made modern humans so adaptable. Their DNA spread through populations across Asia, eventually reaching Oceania where it persists in high concentrations even today, and crossing ancient land bridges to the Americas. Your consciousness is drifting lower now, peaceful and accepting as you contemplate the size diversity of prehistoric humans, 3-foot hobbits on Indonesian islands, 5.5-foot modern humans spreading from Africa, 6-foot Neanderthals dominating Ice Age Europe, 8-foot Denisovans mastering the high plateaus and frozen forests of Asia. And these are just the species we know about. Imagine the family photo if we could gather all human species alive 50,000 years ago. A lineup showing incredible variation in size, shape, and adaptation, all of them unmistakably human, all of them successful in their own territories and ways of life. The giants weren't monsters or threats to your ancestors. Genetic evidence shows they interbred willingly and repeatedly with other human populations over thousands of years. They weren't isolated by choice or avoided out of fear. They were partners, family members, contributors to the gene pool that eventually created you. Your Denisovan ancestors, whether giants or more moderate in size, gave you gifts that persist in your genome today and affect your biology in measurable ways. Feel the protective presence of these giant ancestors as your body becomes completely relaxed,
every muscle releasing into rest.
They're not intimidating now, they're guardians, using their massive size and strength to protect you across the vast expanse of time. Their power flows through your DNA like an underground river, available when you need strength, when you need endurance, when you need the resilience they develop surviving in some of Earth's harshest and most challenging environments. Think about the practical realities of size as you drift towards sleep, your mind growing quieter with each breath. Giant Denisovans needed substantially more food, more resources, more calories to maintain their massive bodies. In times of plenty, when prey was abundant and plants grew richly, being huge was a tremendous advantage. More strength for hunting, more body mass for surviving cold, more intimidation factor for defense. But in times of scarcity, when climate shifted and food became limited, being giant was a disadvantage. Maintaining 8 feet of muscle and bone requires
enormous caloric input that smaller humans didn't need. That's
probably part of why pure Denisovan lineages eventually disappeared. From the fossil record, their extreme size, so advantageous in stable conditions, became unsustainable during the dramatic climate changes of the late Ice Age. But their genes survived in hybrid populations, providing size-related advantages without the extreme resource requirements of full giants. This is evolution's genius, and your body understands it as relaxation deepens into sleep preparation. This is the beauty of hybridization that your slowing breath helps you understand at a cellular level. Take the best traits from different populations without the drawbacks of extreme specialization. Modern humans weren't giants, but they inherited just enough Denisovan genes to gain advantages without the disadvantages. Stronger bones that don't require massive caloric intake to maintain. More efficient muscles that provide power without needing giant body frames to house them. Better oxygen utilization without the lung capacity demands of 8-foot bodies. It's optimization through mixing, evolution's way of creating versatile humans who can handle diverse challenges rather than specialists locked into narrow niches. Your eyelids are impossibly heavy now as you picture Denisovan giants settling. down to sleep in Siberian caves tens of thousands of years ago, their massive bodies requiring deep rest after days of hunting and traveling across frozen landscapes. They slept soundly despite the dangers surrounding them, trusting in their size and strength, their family groups protecting each other through long northern nights. That peaceful giant sleep is available to you now through genetic memory. A sense of safe rest despite harsh conditions, trust in the body's resilience, confidence that tomorrow will come with new opportunities and challenges to face. The giants walked among your ancestors and chose them as worthy partners despite obvious physical differences. They looked down at smaller humans and saw not inferior beings but potential family members, potential lovers, potential parents for children who would combine both lineages. They raised children together, combining giant strength with modern human adaptability and social intelligence. Those children walked between two worlds, literally and figuratively, inheriting advantages from both parent species, becoming something new and remarkably successful. You are their descendant, carrying fragments of giant DNA in your ordinary-sized body, living proof that love and family transcend even dramatic size differences. The genetic signatures are subtle but real. Researchers can identify Denisovan DNA sequences in modern populations and trace their effects on bone density, muscle composition, metabolic efficiency, and immune function. Every time your body uses one of these Denisovan genes, you're accessing adaptations perfected by 8-foot giants who dominated Ice Age Asia. Rest now in the knowledge that your family tree includes the largest humans who ever lived. You carry their resilience, their strength, their ability to survive in environments that would challenge anyone else. The giants succeeded for hundreds of thousands of years, mastering the challenges of Ice Age Asia's most extreme territories, and they passed their hard-won solutions to you through the hybrid children they created with your other ancestors. You are descended from giants, and that strength lives in you still, encoded in DNA sequences, waiting to be called upon whenever you face challenges that seem too large to overcome. Sleep deeply tonight, protected by the memory of giant ancestors who stood tall against Ice Age hardships and not only survived but thrived. Their massive footprints crossed mountains and frozen tundra, and their genetic footprints cross your genome, subtle but significant, invisible but powerful, a permanent reminder that you come from a lineage of powerful survivors who faced the worst conditions Earth could offer and conquered them through size, strength, and adaptation. The giants were real, documented in fossils and DNA. The giants were family, proven by genetic sequences you carry. And the giants live on in you, ensuring you're stronger than you know, more resilient than you imagine, more capable than you realize. Dream of giants who became your grandparents thousands of generations removed, and wake tomorrow knowing their strength is yours to claim whenever you need it. Their 8-foot frames carried them through impossible challenges. Your DNA carries their success forward into your life. Sleep well, descendant of giants. You are protected by their ancient power, blessed by their survival, empowered by their genetic gifts that persist across 50,000 years to reach you tonight. Your body is deeply relaxed now, perfectly positioned to understand something remarkable about the invisible war being fought inside you every single day. Your immune system, that complex network of cells and proteins defending you against disease, isn't purely yours. It's a hybrid system built from genetic contributions from multiple human species, each one contributing weapons forged in ancient battles against plagues you'll never face. Breathe slowly and let this protection wash over you as you drift deeper into rest. 60,000 years ago, when your modern human ancestors left Africa and began spreading across Europe and Asia, they faced a deadly problem. New environments meant new diseases, bacteria, viruses, and parasites their immune systems had never encountered. African immunity was useless against European and Asian pathogens that had been evolving in those regions for hundreds of thousands of years. Your ancestors should have died out within generations, wiped out by diseases their bodies couldn't recognize or fight, but they didn't die. They survived because they received a gift from the humans already living in these regions. Neanderthals had been in Europe and Western Asia for 400,000 years. Every plague, every epidemic, every disease outbreak in that vast span of time had shaped their immune systems through brutal natural selection. The Neanderthals who survived to reproduce were the ones whose immune genes could recognize and defeat local pathogens. 400,000 years of immune system optimization waiting to be shared. Feel yourself sinking deeper as you understand what happened next. When modern humans and Neanderthals formed families together, their children inherited immune genes from both parents. The children who inherited strong Neanderthal immune genes had a massive survival advantage in European and Asian environments. They resisted diseases that killed purely modern human children. They survived epidemics. They lived long enough to reproduce and pass those Neanderthal immune genes forward. Within a few dozen generations, Neanderthal immune genes spread rapidly through modern human populations living outside Africa. Today, your genome contains dozens of Neanderthal genes related to immune function. Genes encoding proteins called toll-like receptors that recognize bacterial and viral invaders. Genes regulating inflammation responses. Genes controlling how your body produces antibodies. These aren't broken or degraded Neanderthal genes that accidentally persisted. They're functional, actively used, constantly defending you against modern diseases. Every day, Neanderthal genes are working inside your body, fighting infections just as they fought Ice Age plagues 50,000 years ago. Let your breathing slow to match the steady work of your immune system as your consciousness drifts lower. During the COVID-19 pandemic, scientists made a fascinating discovery. One cluster of Neanderthal genes on chromosome 3 significantly increased risk of severe COVID-19, particularly in South Asian populations where these genes are common. But another Neanderthal gene on chromosome 12 provided protection, reducing risk of severe illness by about 22%. Even in a brand new disease your Neanderthal ancestors never encountered, their immune genes are still affecting outcomes, still fighting battles, still protecting descendants 50,000 years later. The Denisovans also contributed to your immune system. Research shows Denisovan genes related to immunity spread rapidly through populations that encountered them. In Melanesian and Australian Aboriginal populations, Denisovan immune genes provide advantages against tropical diseases, parasites, bacteria, and viruses prevalent in those regions for hundreds of thousands of years. Your Denisovan ancestors faced these challenges long before modern humans arrived in the Pacific, and they developed genetic solutions that still work today. Your eyelids are impossibly heavy now as you contemplate this invisible protection. Archaic African populations also contributed immune system variants that persist in modern African genomes. These genes defend against malaria, parasitic infections, and other diseases that have plagued African populations for hundreds of thousands of years. The diversity of immune genes in African populations is the highest in the world, partly because multiple archaic human populations contributed to the mix, each one bringing immune innovations developed over vast timescales. This is hybrid vigor in its purest form. No single human population had perfect immunity to all diseases. But by mixing, by interbreeding, by combining immune systems from multiple sources, your ancestors created something more robust than any pure lineage. They borrowed 400,000 years of Neanderthal immunity development. They incorporated Denisovan solutions to Asian and Pacific diseases. They maintained African archaic defenses against ancient African pathogens. The result is you, a human with an immune system assembled from the best components of multiple species. Feel the comfort of this protection as your body grows heavier, more relaxed. Every time you recover from a cold, your hybrid immune system is working. Every time you resist an infection that others catch, archaic human genes might be providing the advantage. Every time your body successfully identifies and destroys a threat, you're benefiting from hundreds of thousands of years of combined evolutionary experience. Your immune system is a living museum of human survival, preserving the victories of ancestors who lived through plagues that could have destroyed humanity. The technical details are fascinating, but not essential for sleep, so let them drift through your mind without attachment. What matters is understanding that you're protected by ghosts, Neanderthal immune cells patrolling your bloodstream, Denisovan antibody patterns recognizing threats, archaic African inflammation responses calibrated to specific challenges, all working together in harmony, not competing but cooperating, combining their strengths to defend the hybrid human. You are. Scientists studying immune genes across populations have found that different groups carry different archaic immune variants. Europeans have certain Neanderthal immune genes that Asians lack. Pacific Islanders have Denisovan immune genes unique to their populations. Africans have archaic variants found nowhere else. This diversity is protective for humanity as a whole. Different populations have different immune strengths, different genetic tools for fighting different diseases. If a new plague emerges, some population somewhere probably has archaic immune genes that provide resistance, ensuring humanity survives even if specific populations suffer. Your breathing is the rhythm of deep relaxation now, matching the steady pulse of immune cells circulating through your body while you rest. Sleep is when your immune system does its most important work, producing new immune cells, clearing out damaged tissue, consolidating immunological memory. The archaic genes working in your immune system need this rest time to function optimally. They've been defending humans through 300,000 years of threats.
And they'll defend you tonight while you sleep.
Just as they defended your ancestors during Ice Age nights in caves warmed by fire. Rest deeply, knowing you're protected by multiple species worth of immune innovation. The Neanderthals survived 4 ice ages before modern humans arrived. 4 complete glacial cycles with all their environmental stresses, disease challenges, and survival pressures. The immune system they developed through that gauntlet now protects you. The Denisovans spread across vast Asian territories, encountering and overcoming countless pathogens. Their solutions now work in you. Archaic Africans weathered hundreds of thousands of years of tropical diseases. Their defenses persist in modern genomes. You are not facing disease alone. You never were. Your immune system is a coalition of ancient warriors, each one bringing expertise developed through countless battles. Neanderthal veterans of Ice Age plagues, Denisovan survivors of Asian epidemics, archaic African defenders against tropical diseases, modern human innovations in immune flexibility, all united in your body, working together while you sleep, ensuring you wake healthy and protected. Let that security settle over you like a warm blanket as you drift toward dreams, knowing that hundreds of thousands of years of successful immune defense are encoded in your DNA, active in your cells, fighting for you every moment. Sleep safely, hybrid human. Your archaic ancestors are on guard duty tonight. As you sink into the deepest relaxation, we need to talk about something intimate and profound. Your personality, your temperament, the patterns of thought and emotion that make you uniquely you. You might think these traits are entirely learned, shaped by experience and environment, but your DNA has a say too, and some of that DNA comes from human species that haven't walked the earth for 40,000 years. Tonight, as consciousness fades and peace deepens, you'll understand how Neanderthals and Denisovans influence who you are at the most personal level. Personality has genetic components. This isn't controversial. Twin studies and family research have demonstrated for decades that traits like introversion, anxiety tendency, risk-taking behavior, and many others have heritable elements. What's new and fascinating is the discovery that some of these personality-influencing genes come from archaic humans. Your Neanderthal ancestors didn't just give you immune system upgrades and cold adaptation. They influenced how you think, how you feel, how you respond to social situations and challenges. Let your mind grow quiet as we explore this gently, without judgment. Research comparing Neanderthal DNA in modern humans with personality assessments has found correlations between certain Neanderthal gene variants and specific traits. Higher Neanderthal ancestry correlates slightly with increased introversion in some populations, with greater sensitivity to pain, with certain sleep patterns and circadian rhythm preferences, with tendencies toward careful, cautious decision-making rather than impulsive risk-taking. Feel your breathing slow as you understand what this means. Neanderthals lived in small, tight-knit groups in harsh Ice Age environments where careful planning and risk avoidance were survival necessities. Impulsive Neanderthals who took unnecessary risks died young, frozen in blizzards they should have sheltered from, injured hunting prey they should have avoided, separated from groups they should have stayed with. Natural selection favored cautious, careful, socially tight Neanderthals who thought through actions before taking them. Those personality traits had genetic components, and when Neanderthals interbred with your modern human ancestors, some of those trait-influencing genes passed forward to you. This doesn't mean Neanderthal DNA determines your personality. Genes influence.
They don't dictate.
Environment, experience, choice all play major roles in who you become. But the genetic influence is real and measurable. If you tend toward introversion, if you're someone who prefers small groups to large parties, if you think carefully before acting, you might be expressing personality traits refined through 400,000 years of Neanderthal evolution. Your caution isn't weakness, it's Ice Age wisdom encoded in DNA. Your body is completely relaxed now, understanding at a cellular level that your personality is perfect for you, shaped by both personal experience and ancient inheritance. Denisovans also contributed to personality architecture. The genetic research is less extensive because Denisovan DNA is less common, but early studies suggest Denisovan genes influence traits related to exploration, adaptation to new environments, and stress response. This makes sense given what we know about Denisovan history. They spread across enormous geographic ranges from Siberia to Southeast Asia, adapting to incredibly diverse environments. That required personality traits favoring exploration, flexibility, and willingness to face unknown challenges. If you carry Denisovan DNA, likely if you have Asian, Oceanic, or Native American ancestry, you might express personality traits refined through hundreds of thousands of years of Denisovan adaptation. The curiosity that drives you to explore new places, the flexibility that helps you adapt to change, the resilience that lets you face challenges without crumbling. These might be partially Denisovan gifts, genetic predispositions toward traits that helped your archaic ancestors thrive in varied, challenging environments. Let yourself drift deeper as you accept this expanded sense of self. You're not just shaped by your recent family history or your personal experiences. You're carrying personality influences from multiple human species, each one contributing traits that help them survive. Modern human genes contribute too, of course, traits related to complex social navigation, language facility, creative problem-solving, and the ability to form large cooperative groups. Your personality is a blend, a unique combination of influences from different sources, all mixed together in proportions specific to you. The technical mechanisms are fascinating as your consciousness lowers towards sleep. Archaic human gene variants affect neurotransmitter systems, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, that regulate mood, social bonding, and behavior. They influence brain development patterns, affecting which neural circuits get emphasized during growth. They alter stress hormone responses, changing how your body and mind react to challenges. These are subtle influences, not overwhelming determinants, but they're real and measurable when studied across large populations. Some Neanderthal genes specifically affect depression risk. Certain variants increase susceptibility, others provide protection. This might reflect adaptation to Ice Age seasonal patterns, long dark winters requiring the ability to maintain functionality despite reduced sunlight and limited social contact. Other Neanderthal genes influence addiction susceptibility, possibly reflecting natural selection around fermented foods or other consciousness-altering substances available in Ice Age environments. Your mental health landscape is partly shaped by genetic variants refined in Neanderthal populations tens of thousands of years ago. Your breathing is the slow rhythm of deep sleep preparation now, accepting these truths without resistance. If you struggle with anxiety, know that anxiety has deep evolutionary roots. Neanderthal ancestors whose anxiety kept them alive in dangerous environments,
Modern human ancestors whose social anxiety helped them navigate complex group dynamics.
Your anxiety isn't failure, it's ancient survival instinct persisting in a modern world. If you experience depression, know that mood regulation genes have been shaped by hundreds of thousands of years of selection in varying light conditions and social circumstances. Your struggles have history, genetic depth, ancestral context, but you also carry genetic predispositions toward resilience, toward joy, toward social connection. Multiple human species survived impossible challenges, which means they carried genes supporting psychological endurance, the ability to find meaning and satisfaction despite hardship, and the capacity to form bonds that sustained them through dark times. Those genes are in you too, waiting to be activated, providing resources when you need them. Feel the presence of all your personality ancestors gathering around you as you drift towards sleep. Cautious Neanderthals teaching you to think before acting. Adventurous Denisovans encouraging exploration when it's appropriate. Socially sophisticated modern humans showing you how to navigate complex relationships. Resilient archaic Africans demonstrating how to endure when times are hard. They're all in you, all contributing to who you are. All providing different tools for different situations. Your personality isn't fixed, it's flexible, capable of expressing different aspects depending on circumstances. The Neanderthal caution when you need to avoid risk. The Denisovan boldness when you need to try something new. The modern human sociability when you need to connect. The archaic African steadiness when you need to endure. You contain multitudes. And those multitudes include genetic wisdom from multiple human species, all available to you, all part of your psychological toolkit. Rest now in complete acceptance of your hybrid personality. You're not broken if you're introverted. You're expressing Ice Age survival traits. You're not weak if you're cautious. You're honoring 400,000 years of Neanderthal wisdom. You're not strange if you're drawn to exploration. You're channeling Denisovan adventurousness. You're not flawed if you need strong social bonds. You're expressing fundamental human sociability refined over millions of years. Every aspect of your personality has roots, has history, has ancestral precedent. Sleep peacefully knowing that ancient humans with personalities like yours survived and thrived long enough to become your ancestors. Your temperament isn't a mistake. It's an inheritance refined through countless generations of selection, proven effective by the simple fact that you exist. Millions of ancestors with similar personality patterns faced challenges, overcame them, reproduced, and passed their personality-influencing genes forward until they reached you. Your way of being in the world works because it worked for them. Trust your inherited nature as you drift into dreams, knowing your personality is a gift from multiple human species, all of them successful survivors, all of them living on through you. Your eyes are closed now, your face relaxed against the pillow, muscles releasing tension accumulated through the day. That face, your face, is more than you realize. It's a genetic sculpture shaped by multiple artists across hundreds of thousands of years. Tonight, as you rest in complete comfort, you'll discover how Neanderthals, Denisovans, archaic Africans, and modern humans all contributed to your features, each one leaving traces in the bones and flesh that make you recognizable to those who love you. Human faces are incredibly variable, more variable than faces of other primates, more expressive, more capable of subtle communication. This diversity isn't random, it's functional, allowing individual recognition in large social groups and enabling complex non-verbal communication. But it's also historical. Your face is a palimpsest, layers of genetic influence from different human species, all visible in your features if you know how to look. Let your awareness drift to your skull, your facial bones, as your body grows heavier with relaxation. The shape of your brow ridge, whether prominent or flat, has genetic components influenced by Neanderthal DNA in some populations. Neanderthals had pronounced brow ridges, heavy bone structures above the eyes that may have provided structural support for their faces or helped with heat dissipation. When they interbred with modern humans, genes influencing brow development mixed. Most modern humans have flat foreheads, but subtle variations in brow prominence across populations reflect different amounts and types of Neanderthal genetic influence. Your nose shape, the feature that varies most dramatically across human populations, also carries archaic influences. Neanderthals had broad noses with large nasal openings, adaptations for warming and humidifying cold, dry ice age air before it reached their lungs. When modern humans inherited Neanderthal genes, some nose-shaping genetic variants came along. Research shows that certain nose-width genes in modern European populations have Neanderthal origin. If your nose is broad, you might be expressing an adaptation perfected during ice ages, a feature that helped ancestors survive Siberian winters. Feel yourself sinking deeper as you imagine the blending of features when different human species formed families. A Neanderthal mother's broad nose combined with a modern human father's narrower face. A Denisovan father's massive jaw meeting a modern human mother's smaller features. The children inheriting combinations, sometimes matching one parent more, sometimes creating entirely new proportions. Over generations, these mixings created the range of human facial diversity we see today. East Asian faces, European faces, African faces, Pacific Islander faces, all unique, all beautiful, all carrying echoes of ancient mixing. Your jaw, strength and bite force have genetic components influenced by archaic humans. Neanderthals had incredibly powerful jaws, capable of exerting bite forces far exceeding modern humans. They used their teeth as tools, holding hides while working them, gripping materials while crafting, and their jaw muscles and bone structures evolved to handle these stresses. Denisovans had even more massive jaws and teeth, suggesting they processed especially tough foods or used their mouths for particularly demanding tasks. Genes affecting jaw development from these archaic populations persist in modern humans, contributing to variation in jaw size and strength across populations. Your skin color, one of the most visible features of human diversity, is influenced by archaic mixing. Neanderthals lived in Europe for hundreds of thousands of years, adapting to lower UV radiation levels. They evolved lighter skin to efficiently produce vitamin D and reduce sunlight. Genes affecting skin pigmentation in European populations show Neanderthal influence. Not all skin color genes, but specific variants that fine-tune melanin production. When modern humans moved into Europe and mixed with Neanderthals, these skin color genes provided immediate adaptation to northern latitudes. No waiting thousands of years for new mutations, instant adaptation through interbreeding. Let your face relax completely as your breathing slows to the rhythm of deep rest. Your hair color and texture also carry archaic signatures. The gene variant that gives some people red hair, Neanderthal contribution. Certain hair texture genes in Asian populations, possibly Denisovan influence, though research is ongoing. Hair thickness, curl pattern, growth rate, all influenced by complex genetic networks that include contributions from archaic humans adapted to different climates and environments. Even your facial expressions, the micro-movements of muscles that communicate emotion, may be influenced by archaic genes. Neanderthals and modern humans shared similar facial musculature. We know this from fossil skulls that preserve muscle attachment points. They could smile, frown, show surprise and fear, and joy just as modern humans can. When they looked at their hybrid children, They saw familiar expressions combining features from both parents. Your ability to communicate through facial expression is an ancient human trait, shared across species, refined through millions of years of social evolution. Your cheekbones, whether high and prominent or low and subtle, reflect genetic influences from multiple sources. Some Asian populations have high, broad cheekbones, partly influenced by ancient admixture events. Pacific Islander facial features show possible Denisovan influence in specific bone structure patterns. African facial diversity reflects the deepest human genetic variation, including contributions from archaic African populations. Every continental population has unique facial features partly shaped by which archaic humans their ancestors mixed with, and in what proportions. Feel gratitude for your face as consciousness drifts lower towards sleep. This face that greets you in the mirror each morning isn't just you, it's thousands of ancestors visible in your features. The Neanderthal grandmother whose nose shape you inherited, the Denisovan grandfather whose jaw strength flows through your lineage, the archaic African ancestors whose bone structure underlies everything. The modern human innovations in facial expressiveness that make you so good at communicating emotion, all of them present in your face, all of them contributing to what makes you recognizable and unique. Research continues revealing new connections between archaic DNA and facial features. Scientists can now predict some facial characteristics from DNA alone, and part of that prediction involves identifying archaic gene variants and understanding their effects. Your face is literally readable genetic history. Someone with the right knowledge could look at your features and make educated guesses about your archaic ancestry, about which ancient mixing events contributed to your lineage. But you don't need scientific analysis to appreciate your hybrid face. Just knowing that multiple human species contributed to your appearance is enough. Your face isn't just modern human. It's a collaborative creation, artwork produced by multiple genetic artists over hundreds of thousands of years. Every time you see your reflection, you're seeing the result of Ice Age adaptations, tropical optimizations, altitude specializations, and innovative modern human features all combined in proportions unique to you. Your facial muscles are completely relaxed now, released from the tension of daily expression, resting in the ancient pattern of sleep that all human species shared. Neanderthals slept with faces relaxed like yours is now. Denisovans rested with the same peaceful expression you're wearing. Your face in sleep looks like your ancestors' faces across species, peaceful, vulnerable, human in the most fundamental way. In sleep, the differences between human types fade, and what remains is the shared experience of rest, of vulnerability, of trust that tomorrow will come. Sleep now with your hybrid face relaxed completely, every muscle releasing, every feature softening into rest. Your face tomorrow will look like it always does. But now you know it's more than it seems, a living monument to successful mixing, a genetic sculpture created by multiple human species, a unique combination that has never existed before and will never exist again in exactly this form. Your face is history made flesh, ancestry made visible, love stories from 50,000 years ago still evident in the curve of your jaw, the bridge of your nose, the shape of your eyes. Rest peacefully, hybrid human, your face perfect precisely because it's a mixture, beautiful exactly because it combines influences from across the entire human family tree. Your body is profoundly relaxed now, heavy with approaching sleep, and in this state you can understand something wonderful about your capabilities, the things you're good at, the skills that come naturally, the abilities you take for granted. Many of them are gifts from archaic humans who perfected these capabilities over hundreds of thousands of years before passing them to you through the children they created with your modern human ancestors. Let this knowledge settle over you like a warm blanket as we explore the abilities sleeping in your DNA. Athletic performance has genetic components, and some of those components come from archaic humans. Neanderthals were incredibly strong. Their arm bones show attachment points for muscles much more developed than modern humans typically possess. They could exert forces that would seem superhuman today, throw spears with deadly accuracy, climb rough terrain carrying heavy loads. Genetic variants affecting muscle fiber type, muscle density, and muscular endurance in modern populations show Neanderthal influence. If you're naturally strong, if building muscle comes easily, you might be expressing Neanderthal genetic gifts refined through Ice Age survival challenges. Feel your muscles relaxing completely as you appreciate their hybrid nature. Denisovans contributed different athletic advantages, altitude performance most famously. The EPS1 gene variant that allows Tibetans to live at extreme elevations without altitude sickness comes directly from Denisovans. This isn't a gene that gradually evolved in modern humans.
After they reached Tibet, it was inherited complete and
Functional from Denisovans who had already perfected high-altitude survival over hundreds of thousands of years. Instant adaptation through interbreeding. If you have Tibetan ancestry, you can thank Denisovan grandparents for your ability to breathe thin air. But altitude isn't the only Denisovan gift. Research suggests Denisovan genes also influence diving ability in some Pacific Island populations. Free divers in Southeast Asia who can hold their breath for extraordinary periods and dive to remarkable depths may be benefiting from Denisovan genetic variants affecting oxygen utilization and carbon dioxide tolerance. Your Denisovan ancestors adapted to diverse environments, mountains, islands, coasts, and each adaptation required specific physical capabilities. Those capabilities persist in modern populations through genetic inheritance. Let your breathing deepen as consciousness drifts lower, appreciating how your body knows things your mind never learned. Cold tolerance shows archaic influence. Neanderthals lived through ice ages that modern humans have never experienced. Winter temperatures far below anything we face today, sustained for months, requiring constant calorie burning just to maintain body heat. They adapted genetically, developing more efficient metabolisms, better fat storage patterns, improved circulation to extremities. When modern humans inherited these genes, they gained cold resistance that helped them survive northern winters. If you tolerate cold better than average, if you're comfortable in temperatures that chill others, you might be expressing Neanderthal adaptations. Your metabolism running efficiently in cold, your circulation keeping fingers and toes warm, your body fat distributed in patterns that insulate without excess. These aren't things you learned, they're things you inherited from ancestors who survived conditions that would kill modern humans within hours. Your pain tolerance has genetic components influenced by archaic humans. Studies show that people with higher Neanderthal ancestry tend to have altered pain perception. Specifically, they may experience pain more intensely in some ways but have greater ability to function despite pain. This reflects Neanderthal survival requirements. Ice Age life involved constant physical stress, hunting injuries, cold exposure, arthritis from harsh climates. Neanderthals who could function despite pain had survival advantages. Their pain processing genes persist in modern populations, affecting how you experience and respond to physical discomfort. Feel your body completely at ease now, pain-free in rest, as you understand that your pain responses have ancient origins. Cognitive abilities also show archaic influence. Neanderthals had brains as large as modern humans, but shaped differently, more volume in visual processing and motor control areas, less in social cognition regions. This reflects their lifestyle and survival strategies. They were excellent hunters requiring superb hand-eye coordination and spatial reasoning. They created sophisticated tools requiring mental modeling and planning. These cognitive strengths had genetic components. When Neanderthals and modern humans interbred, cognitive genes mixed. Modern humans inherited Neanderthal variants affecting spatial reasoning, visual memory, and motor control. If you're good at mentally rotating objects, if you have excellent hand-eye coordination, if you can navigate complex three-dimensional spaces easily, you might be benefiting from Neanderthal cognitive genes refined through 400,000 years of ice age. Hunting and survival, your consciousness is drifting towards sleep as you contemplate these invisible gifts. Denisovans contributed their own cognitive advantages, though research is less complete. Evidence suggests Denisovan genes affect aspects of brain development and neural connectivity. The massive Denisovan brains, potentially larger even than Neanderthal brains, must have had sophisticated cognitive capabilities supporting their success across diverse environments. Some of those capabilities persist in modern populations carrying Denisovan DNA. Creative ability shows interesting patterns related to hybrid ancestry. Modern humans have always excelled at creative, symbolic thinking, art, music, complex language, abstract reasoning. But creativity often benefits from combining different thinking styles, different cognitive approaches to problems. Hybrid individuals combining modern human social intelligence with Neanderthal visual spatial reasoning might have had unique creative advantages. Some researchers speculate that the explosion of art and innovation in prehistoric Europe coincided with periods of intensive modern human-Neanderthal mixing, suggesting hybrid cognitive advantages. Let this settle gently as sleep approaches. Your creativity, your ability to solve problems in unique ways, might reflect hybrid thinking, multiple cognitive styles from multiple human species, all working together in your brain. Modern human symbolic reasoning plus Neanderthal, spatial intelligence plus Denisovan adaptability equals unprecedented creative potential. You're not just thinking with one species' brain, you're thinking with a hybrid brain that combines the best of multiple lineages. Learning ability also shows hybrid influences. Different human species excelled at learning different types of information. Modern humans developed exceptional social learning, watching others and copying their behaviors, teaching and being taught through demonstration and language. Neanderthals excelled at learning from direct experience and personal problem-solving. Denisovans adapted to so many environments that they must have been excellent at learning new strategies for new challenges. Your brain inherited all these learning styles, making you flexible and capable of acquiring more knowledge through multiple pathways. Your body knows this even as your mind drifts towards sleep. Musical ability, mathematical thinking, linguistic facility, mechanical reasoning all show complex genetic influences, including contributions from archaic humans. You're smarter than any pure lineage would be, more capable, more flexible. Your hybrid brain is optimized through mixing, combining cognitive strengths from multiple human species. Feel profound gratitude as consciousness fades toward dreams. Every ability you possess, every skill that comes naturally, every talent you've developed, all rest on genetic foundations laid by multiple human species. The strength to lift heavy objects comes partly from Neanderthal muscle genes. The endurance to run long distances combines modern human adaptations with archaic contributions. The ability to survive in cold climates reflects Neanderthal Ice Age experience. The capability to live at high altitude descends directly from Denisovan mountain mastery. You are capable because they were capable. You are strong because they were strong. You are smart because they were smart. Every human species that contributed to your genome was successful enough to survive for hundreds of thousands of years in challenging environments, successful enough to interbreed with other humans and pass their genes forward, successful enough that their DNA persists in you today.
Their success is your inheritance.
Their capabilities are your birthright. Sleep deeply now, knowing that when you wake tomorrow and face challenges, you're not facing them alone. You're facing them with genetic support from multiple human species, each one contributing specific abilities, all of them united in helping you succeed. Your archaic ancestors survived ice ages, plagues, predators, climate chaos, and countless other challenges. Their survival genes are your genes. Their persistence is your persistence. Their capabilities are yours to claim. Rest peacefully, hybrid human, your abilities greater than you know, your potential expanded by ancient mixing, your success supported by 300,000 years of multi-species human achievement. As you drift in that peaceful space between waking and sleeping, your brain quiet and receptive, we turn to the most remarkable hybrid organ you possess, your brain itself. Not just influenced by archaic humans, but literally built according to genetic instructions from multiple species, shaped during development by DNA from Neanderthals, Denisovans, and archaic Africans working together with modern human genes. Your thinking, your consciousness, your very sense of self emerges from a brain that's fundamentally hybrid in architecture. Let this understanding deepen your relaxation as we explore the multi-species organ thinking these thoughts. Brain development is extraordinarily complex, guided by thousands of genes acting in precise sequences during fetal growth and childhood development. Some of those genes come from archaic humans, and they affect which brain regions get emphasized, how neurons connect, which neural circuits become most efficient. Your brain isn't just a modern human brain with a few archaic genes scattered randomly. It's a hybrid structure where archaic influences are woven into the fundamental architecture. Feel your brain resting, activity slowing as sleep approaches, and appreciate its hybrid nature. Neanderthal genes affect brain development in specific ways. Research comparing Neanderthal DNA in modern populations with brain structure scans has revealed fascinating patterns. People with certain Neanderthal gene variants have subtle differences in brain shape, slightly more elongated skulls, different proportions between visual cortex and frontal regions, variations in white matter connectivity. These aren't deficits or abnormalities. They're alternative but functional brain organizations, echoes of how Neanderthal brains were structured. Neanderthal brains emphasized visual processing and motor control. Their occipital lobes, the brain regions processing vision, were larger than modern humans. Their cerebellums, controlling movement and coordination, were more developed. This reflects their survival strategy. Highly skilled hunters needing excellent vision, superb hand-eye coordination, and precise motor control for throwing spears and crafting tools. These emphases had genetic bases, and when modern humans inherited Neanderthal brain development genes, some of these organizational patterns came along. Let your mind grow quieter as you understand what this means for you. If you're visually oriented, if you think in pictures rather than words, if you have exceptional hand-eye coordination, you might be expressing Neanderthal brain organization. Your visual cortex might be slightly more developed, your motor circuit slightly more efficient because of genes inherited from Ice Age hunters who needed these capabilities for survival. Your thinking style isn't random, it's inherited, shaped by hundreds of thousands of years of Neanderthal evolution. Modern humans, in contrast, emphasized social cognition. The regions of modern human brains involved in understanding others' thoughts, navigating social hierarchies, processing language, and forming large cooperative groups are expanded compared to other primates, and probably compared to Neanderthals. Modern humans survived through social cooperation, complex communication, and the ability to form alliances with non-relatives. These capabilities required specific brain structures which evolved under intense selection pressure. Your hybrid brain combines both emphases: Neanderthal visual spatial gifts plus modern human social intelligence creates something potentially more powerful than either alone. You can navigate complex social situations while also excelling at visual spatial tasks. You can communicate effectively through language while also thinking in pictures and mental models. Your brain isn't divided or conflicted, it's enriched, possessing capabilities from multiple lineages. Feel yourself sinking deeper as consciousness fades and your hybrid brain begins the important work of sleep processing. Denisovans also contributed to brain development, though we know less because Denisovan DNA is less common in studied populations. However, some Denisovan genes specifically affect brain growth patterns and neural development. These genes are under positive selection in some populations, meaning they provide advantages significant enough that people carrying them have more surviving offspring. Whatever cognitive benefits Denisovan brain genes provide, evolution is actively preserving them. The Denisovan brain was likely massive. Analysis of their few fossils suggests brain volumes possibly exceeding both modern humans and Neanderthals. Large brains aren't automatically better brains, but they do allow more neural complexity, more information processing capacity, more potential for sophisticated cognition. Denisovans needed significant cognitive abilities to spread across such diverse environments, from frozen Siberia to tropical Southeast Asia, from sea level to the highest mountains. That kind of adaptability requires flexible, powerful thinking. Your breathing is slow and steady now, your brain waves shifting towards sleep patterns as we explore deeper. If you carry Denisovan DNA, your brain development was influenced by genes from these adaptive giants. Perhaps you inherited cognitive flexibility, the ability to think effectively in varied contexts, to adapt your mental strategies to different challenges. Perhaps you gained enhanced memory formation, allowing you to store and retrieve complex information efficiently. The research is ongoing, but Denisovan cognitive contributions are real and functional. Archaic African populations also shaped brain development. The deepest human genetic diversity exists in Africa, including brain development genes. Some of this diversity comes from archaic African populations that mixed with modern human ancestors hundreds of thousands of years ago. These archaic contributions affect neural development in ways researchers are only beginning to understand, but they add to the overall cognitive diversity of human populations. More genetic variation means more possible brain organizations, more cognitive styles, more ways of thinking effectively. Let your mind rest as you contemplate teaching and learning across species. 25,000 years ago, imagine a mixed family, modern human mother, Neanderthal father, hybrid children carrying genes from both. The mother teaches her children social skills, complex language, how to navigate relationships in larger groups. The father teaches hunting techniques, tool crafting, Ice Age survival skills. The children learn from both, their hybrid brains capable of absorbing and integrating both teaching styles. They grow up bilingual in cognitive approaches, social verbal from their mother, visual spatial from their father. These children had advantages. They could think in multiple modes, solve problems using different strategies, adapt to varied situations. When they formed their own families and taught their own children, they passed on this cognitive flexibility. Generation after generation, hybrid thinking spread through populations, creating humans with brains that could handle unprecedented complexity. Your brain, right now, drifting towards sleep, is the descendant of those hybrid brains. You inherited the capacity to think in multiple ways because your ancestors literally were multiple species teaching each other, learning from each other, combining cognitive approaches. The ancient teachers weren't just sharing information, they were combining genetic instructions for building brains, creating new cognitive architectures through their hybrid children. Feel gratitude for your teaching ancestors as sleep approaches. The Neanderthal grandfather who taught your hybrid ancestor to see trajectories clearly, to model three-dimensional space mentally, to coordinate hand and eye perfectly. The modern human grandmother who taught language complexity, social reasoning, emotional intelligence. The Denisovan ancestor who contributed adaptability genes allowing cognitive flexibility across contexts. The archaic African elder who passed on genetic diversity enabling novel neural connections. All of them teachers, all of them contributors to the brain you're using right now. Memory formation shows hybrid influences. Different human species faced different memory challenges. Neanderthals needed excellent spatial memory, remembering complex terrain, locations of resources, paths through dangerous areas. Modern humans needed strong social memory, remembering who was reliable, who owed favors, complex relationship networks. Denisovans adapting to diverse environments needed flexible memory systems capable of storing varied types of information. Your memory system inherited aspects of all these emphases. If you have excellent spatial memory but struggle with names, you might be expressing Neanderthal memory emphasis. If you remember social situations clearly but forget roots, modern human memory patterns dominate. Most likely, you have a balanced hybrid system capable of remembering both spatial and social information, both visual and verbal content, because your brain architecture combines genes from species with different memory specialization. Your consciousness is fading now, your brain beginning sleep's essential work. During sleep, your hybrid brain consolidates memories, processes emotions, solves problems your conscious mind couldn't crack. This sleep processing uses neural circuits built by genes from multiple species, each one contributing to different aspects of the overnight work. Neanderthal genes supporting visual memory consolidation, modern human genes processing social information, Denisovan genes facilitating flexible integration,
all working together while you rest.
Language ability, humanity's most distinctive cognitive trait, also shows complex evolutionary history. Modern humans clearly have specialized language capabilities beyond other human species. Brain regions like Broca's area and Wernicke's area, critical for language processing, are expanded in modern humans. But Neanderthals also had language. We know from their FOXP2 gene that they possessed key genetic components of speech, and their hyoid bones show they could produce complex sounds. When modern humans and Neanderthals interbred, language genes mixed. Your ability to produce and understand complex language comes primarily from modern human ancestry, but Neanderthal genes may influence aspects of your linguistic processing. Some researchers speculate that tonal languages, languages where pitch carries meaning, might reflect different neural processing patterns influenced by archaic admixture. Your multilingual brain, if you speak multiple languages, demonstrates the cognitive flexibility that hybrid ancestry provides. Let your thinking mind completely rest now as sleep takes over. Your brain knows what to do. It's been sleeping for hundreds of thousands of years across multiple species, always performing the same essential maintenance, clearing metabolic waste from between neurons, strengthening important connections and pruning unused ones, processing the day's experiences into long-term memories, problem-solving through dreams. All of this happens automatically, guided by genetic instructions from multiple human species, all agreeing on the importance of sleep. Your hybrid brain is a masterpiece of evolution, combining the best cognitive tools from multiple human lineages. You think with Neanderthal visual spatial intelligence. You reason with modern human social cognition. You adapt with Denisovan flexibility. You draw on deep cognitive diversity from archaic African roots. All these capabilities integrated seamlessly, working together so smoothly you never notice the hybrid nature of your thinking. You just think, and your brain handles the complexity of coordinating inputs from multiple species worth of cognitive evolution. Rest deeply now, knowing your brain is more capable than you realize, more sophisticated than any pure lineage could produce. The ancient teachers, Neanderthal, Denisovan, archaic African, and modern human, combined their wisdom in the genetic instructions that built your brain. Their teaching continues every moment your brain functions, every thought you think, every problem you solve. You are thinking with ancient wisdom encoded in neural architecture. And tomorrow when you wake, that hybrid brain will be refreshed, restored, ready to combine multiple species worth of cognitive power to face whatever challenges come. Sleep peacefully, hybrid thinker. Your brain is a gift from multiple human species, and it serves you perfectly. Your body knows something your modern mind has forgotten. The way you're sleeping right now, or trying to sleep, isn't quite how your ancestors slept for hundreds of thousands of years. Tonight, as you rest deeply, we're going to rediscover prehistoric sleep patterns encoded in your DNA, patterns your body still expects, still craves. Let yourself relax completely as we explore how Ice Age humans actually slept, and how understanding this can transform your rest tonight and every night. 20,000 years ago, Before electric lights, before artificial schedules, before alarm clocks and smartphones, your ancestors slept differently. They didn't sleep 8 continuous hours like modern sleep advice suggests. They practiced what researchers call segmented sleep, 2 distinct sleep periods separated by a quiet waking period of an hour or 2. This wasn't insomnia or sleep disorder. This was normal, natural, encoded in the circadian rhythms all humans carry. Feel yourself relaxing into this knowledge as your breathing slows. In deep winter, when darkness lasted 16 hours or more, your Ice Age ancestors would sleep for 3 to 4 hours after sunset, their bodies responding to darkness by producing melatonin and shutting down for what they called first sleep. Then, in the middle of the night, they would wake naturally, not with anxiety or frustration, but peacefully, knowing this waking was normal and expected. During this midnight waking period, which lasted 1 to 2 hours, they would tend the fire, keeping it alive through the long night. They would talk quietly with family members, share dreams, make love, pray or meditate, work on small tasks that didn't require daylight. This was contemplative time, peaceful time when the mind was deeply relaxed but gently aware. Then, naturally, drowsiness would return and they would drift into second sleep, which lasted until dawn or shortly after. Let your body recognize this pattern as you rest tonight. If you wake in the middle of the night, don't panic. Don't check your phone or turn on bright lights. Don't tell yourself you're experiencing insomnia. Instead, understand that you might be experiencing the ancient pattern, your body expecting segmented sleep, because that's what human DNA was calibrated for across hundreds of thousands of years. Your Neanderthal ancestors slept this way. Your Denisovan ancestors slept this way. Every human species sleeping in caves and shelters before artificial light slept this way. Your breathing is very slow now, your body preparing for that first sleep period that comes so naturally when you stop fighting your biology. Modern continuous sleep is actually the unusual pattern, invented only in the last few centuries, as artificial lighting allowed humans to stay awake later and compress sleep into a single block. Your body remembers the older way, and sometimes it tries to follow that ancient rhythm despite modern expectations. The midnight waking wasn't just normal, it was valuable. Psychological research on people who practice segmented sleep shows that the quiet waking period between first and second sleep produces unique mental states. The mind is deeply relaxed but creatively active. Problem solving improves. Emotional processing happens naturally. Dreams from first sleep are remembered and contemplated, providing insights that purely continuous sleep doesn't allow. Your ancestors used this time for their deepest thinking, their most profound contemplation. Feel yourself accepting this possibility as consciousness drifts lower. Tonight, you're beginning first sleep, natural, deep, restorative first sleep, just as your ancestors experienced. If you wake later, in 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, you'll know it's not wrong.
It's ancient.
It's the segmented pattern trying to express itself. You can lie peacefully in darkness, letting your mind wander gently, processing the day without effort or anxiety. Then, when second sleep calls, you'll drift back down into even deeper rest, completing the cycle your DNA expects. Prehistoric sleep was also more flexible than modern rigid schedules. In summer, with long daylight hours, your ancestors slept less overall, perhaps 5 to 6 hours total. In winter, with extended darkness, they slept 10 or even 12 hours, matching their rest to available light and conserving calories when food was scarce. Their bodies adjusted seasonally, naturally, without struggle. Your body carries the same capability for seasonal variation, though modern life rarely allows it to express. Let your body remember its flexibility as you sink deeper into rest. You don't need exactly 8 hours every night.
Some nights less is fine.
Some nights more is beneficial. Your body knows what it needs, and when you listen to natural sleepiness signals rather than clock watching, you align with ancient wisdom encoded in your genes. Ice Age humans trusted their body's sleep signals because they had to, no clocks to tell them otherwise. You can reclaim that trust tonight. Prehistoric sleep environments also differed from modern bedrooms. Complete darkness once the fire died down, no LED lights, no street lamps, no glowing screens. Near total silence except for natural sounds, wind, animals, breathing of sleeping family members, cooler temperatures than modern heated homes, and most importantly, the presence of other people. Sleeping alone is a modern invention. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans slept in groups, finding security and warmth in physical proximity to family and tribe members. Your body remembers this as you rest tonight. If you sleep better with white noise simulating natural sounds, that's ancient memory expressing. If you prefer complete darkness, your DNA remembers firelit caves fading to black. If you sleep more soundly with a partner nearby, you're experiencing the comfort your ancestors felt, sleeping in groups where safety came from numbers. Your modern sleep environment can honor these ancient preferences, helping you access deeper rest. Feel profound relaxation settling over you as you understand that your sleep struggles might not be personal failures, but mismatches between ancient biology and modern expectations. Your body expects segmented sleep, but you've been taught to fear middle-of-the-night waking. Your circadian rhythms expect seasonal variation, but modern life demands consistency. Your sleep systems evolved for dark, quiet, cool environments with nearby companions, but you might be sleeping alone in rooms with light and temperature you can't control. Tonight, you're giving your body what it really needs: darkness and quiet as much as possible. Permission to wake midnight if that's what happens, without anxiety or frustration. Trust that your DNA knows how to sleep. It's been sleeping successfully for hundreds of thousands of years across multiple human species. Neanderthals slept soundly in Ice Age caves. Denisovans rested deeply in Siberian shelters. Your ancestors all mastered sleep, and they passed that mastery to you genetically. Rest now in ancient patterns, your body remembering how humans really slept before modern complications. First sleep is beginning, deep and natural, exactly what your DNA expects and craves. If you wake later, you'll know it's the midnight waking, ancient and normal and valuable. And second sleep will come even deeper, carrying you through until dawn. Trust the pattern. Trust your body. Trust 300,000 years of successful human sleep encoded in your genes. Sleep as your ancestors slept, naturally, flexibly, peacefully, and wake tomorrow restored by rest that honored your prehistoric biology. The ancient sleep pattern is yours to reclaim. Welcome home to the way humans were meant to rest. As you drift deeper into the peace of approaching sleep, we turn to something ancient and powerful, the protection rituals your ancestors performed every night before resting. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans didn't just lie down and sleep. They created safety through ritual, through intention, through spiritual practices that told their nervous systems it was safe to become vulnerable in sleep. Tonight, you can activate these ancient protection protocols, connecting with practices encoded in your collective human memory. 15,000 years ago, in caves across Europe, Asia, and Africa, your ancestors prepared their sleeping spaces with care and intention. This wasn't superstition, it was practical psychology. Creating a sense of safety allowed their bodies to fully relax into deep sleep despite real dangers that surrounded them. Predators prowled outside.
Rival groups might attack. Natural disasters could strike.
Yet they slept soundly because they established psychological and spiritual protection that calmed their nervous systems enough to permit the
vulnerability of unconsciousness. Feel
your own nervous system beginning to settle as you imagine these ancient practices. Cave walls were painted with protective animals, powerful creatures like lions, bears, and mammoths that represented strength and guardianship. These weren't random decorations. They were intentional spiritual shields, ancestors calling upon the power of these animals to watch over sleeping families. Modern humans might call this superstition, but it worked. The ritual of creating these images, calmed fears, and enabled restful
Sleep in genuinely dangerous environments.
yourself. Create your own modern protection ritual as your breathing slows to the
Rhythm of deep relaxation.
You don't need to paint cave walls, but you can mentally establish a protective boundary around your sleeping space. Visualize a circle of safety surrounding your bed, created by the presence of all your ancestors, Neanderthal, Denisovan, modern human, archaic African, all standing guard while you rest. They protected their families for hundreds of thousands of years. Tonight, they protect you. Your ancestors also blessed sleeping spaces before rest. Elders would walk through the cave or shelter, touching walls, speaking words of protection, calling on ancestors and spirits to guard the sleeping group. This ritual served important functions. It united the group in shared safety. It activated everyone's sense of being protected, and it created a psychological transition from waking alertness to sleep-ready relaxation. The words didn't have to be magical to work. They just had to be sincere and to engage the deep human need for protection during vulnerable sleep. Feel yourself becoming drowsy as you create your own blessing ritual right now. In your mind, call upon your ancestors to guard your sleep tonight. Invite your Neanderthal ancestors to bring their Ice Age strength. Ask your Denisovan ancestors to contribute their mountain-tested resilience. Request your modern human ancestors to provide their social protection instincts. Welcome your archaic African ancestors to offer the oldest, deepest form of human guardianship. They're all here, all present, all willing to watch over you while you rest. Prehistoric humans also used fire as both physical and spiritual protection. Fire kept predators away, provided warmth, and served as a focus for evening rituals. The last person to sleep would be responsible for banking the fire, arranging logs and embers, so it would burn slowly through the night without going out completely. This task was sacred, trusted only to responsible adults, because the fire represented life, safety, continuation of the family into tomorrow. Let the memory of protective fire warm you as your body grows heavier with approaching sleep. You don't have a literal fire, but you can visualize one, glowing embers in the center of your protective circle. Ancient fire that has burned continuously since your earliest ancestors tamed flame hundreds of thousands of years ago. This fire never goes out. It's been passed from generation to generation, kept alive through ice ages and migrations and countless challenges. Tonight it burns for you, warming your sleep, keeping dangers at bay, promising that morning will come. Your ancestors also practiced evening gratitude, thanking the day for its gifts before releasing into sleep. They thanked successful hunts, safe returns, food gathered, children healthy, challenges overcome. This gratitude ritual served important psychological functions. It shifted focus from dangers and losses to successes and gains, creating positive emotional states conducive to restful sleep. Brains that go to sleep. Rehearsing gratitude sleep more soundly than brains rehearsing worries and fears. Feel gratitude settling over you now like a soft blanket as consciousness fades towards sleep. Thank your body for carrying you through this day. Thank your hybrid DNA for gifts from multiple human species. Thank your ancestors for surviving long enough to create you. Thank this moment of safety and rest. Thank tomorrow for waiting patiently while you restore yourself. Gratitude creates neurochemical changes that promote deep sleep. Your ancestors knew this through experience, and now science confirms their wisdom. Some prehistoric groups practiced dream sharing as part of their evening ritual. Before sleep, they would state intentions for dreams, ask for guidance from ancestors or spirits, request solutions to problems they faced. Upon waking from the midnight period between first and second sleep, they would quietly share dreams with others who were awake, seeking meaning and insight. Dreams were respected as communications from deeper wisdom, whether ancestral, spiritual, or subconscious. Let yourself state a gentle intention for tonight's dreams as your mind grows quieter. Perhaps you'd like insight into a challenge you face. Perhaps you'd like to meet your ancestors in dreams. Perhaps you'd simply like rest and restoration. State your intention clearly but without attachment, then release it to the dreaming mind. Your brain will process your intention during sleep, working on solutions while your conscious mind rests. This is ancient dream technology available to you tonight, encoded in the human capacity for meaningful dreaming. Your body is completely relaxed now, protected by ancient rituals that have guarded human sleep for hundreds of thousands of years. The protective circle surrounds you, created by ancestors from all human species. The eternal fire burns safely, warming without danger, providing light in darkness. Gratitude fills your heart, creating peace. Your dream intention is stated and released. All the elements of prehistoric sleep protection are in place, adapted for modern context, but honoring ancient wisdom. Rest deeply knowing you're not sleeping alone or unprotected. Every human who ever lived faced the same vulnerability of sleep and created ways to feel safe enough to rest deeply. Those protection methods persist in human culture, in religious bedtime prayers, in goodnight rituals with children, in the way people still check locks and create bedtime routines. You're participating in humanity's oldest ritual, preparing for sleep with intention and protection. Your ancestors watch over you tonight, their presence real in your DNA, their protection active in your genes. Sleep safely, guarded by 300,000 years of human love, held secure in the oldest blessing ever spoken. Rest well, child of humanity. We watch while you sleep. Your consciousness is hovering now in that beautiful space between waking and dreaming, and in this threshold state, we explore one of humanity's most ancient and powerful technologies, using dreams to prepare for tomorrow's challenges. Ice Age humans didn't just dream randomly. They actively used dreams as problem-solving tools, as planning devices, as ways of accessing wisdom deeper than conscious thinking could reach. Tonight, as you drift toward your own dreams, you'll activate this ancient capability sleeping in your DNA. 12,000 years ago, imagine a hunting party facing a difficult challenge. Large prey animals they need for survival have changed migration patterns, moving to new territories the hunters don't know well. One evening, the lead hunter speaks his intention before sleep. Show me where the herds have gone. Not a desperate plea, but a calm request to his dreaming mind, trusting that sleep processing will offer insights his waking mind couldn't generate. Feel yourself relaxing completely as you understand how this worked. During sleep, the brain processes information differently than during waking hours. Connections form between distant memories. Pattern recognition systems work without conscious interference. The dreaming brain has access to everything you've ever experienced, every subtle observation stored in memory, every pattern your subconscious noticed, but your conscious mind missed. Ice Age hunters trusted this process because it worked. They would dream of new hunting grounds, wake with intuitive knowledge of where to search, and find the herds. Let your own mind prepare to work this way tonight as your breathing becomes the slow rhythm of deep sleep. Before you fully drift away, you can plant a question in your mind. Not forcefully, not with anxiety, but gently, like planting a seed in fertile soil. State what you need insight about: a challenge at work, a relationship question, a decision you're facing, a problem requiring creative solution. State it clearly once, then release it completely. Your dreaming brain will work on it while you rest, making connections, testing scenarios, generating insights. Your ancestors used dream wisdom for every kind of challenge. Gatherers dreamed of plant locations, seeing in dreams where specific medicinal or food plants would be growing. Artists dreamed of designs before creating them, their sleeping minds generating images their waking minds would then reproduce. Leaders dreamed of diplomatic solutions to conflicts, waking with strategies that satisfied competing interests. Parents dreamed of their children's needs, receiving intuitive guidance about care and teaching. Dreams were respected as genuine sources of useful information. Your body is profoundly heavy now, your mind drifting deeper as you activate this ancient dream technology. The biological mechanism is real. During REM sleep, your brain consolidates memories, processes emotions, and engages in intense neural activity that produces dreams. This activity isn't random noise. It's your brain working through problems, testing solutions, integrating information in ways impossible during waking consciousness when linear thinking and social concerns limit creative connections. Neanderthal hunters perfecting throw accuracy over thousands of practice sessions would dream those throws, their motor cortex activating during sleep, rehearsing movements, optimizing muscle sequences. They woke with improved skill, their dream practice translating to waking performance. Modern athletes call this visualization or mental practice, but it's ancient, your brain's natural way of using sleep time productively. Tonight, your brain will practice whatever skills you've been developing, improving them while you rest. Feel yourself surrendering to this process as consciousness fades. Denisovan explorers facing unknown territories would dream pathways before traveling them, their spatial processing systems mapping possibilities during sleep. They trusted dream geography as preparation for waking journeys. Your brain has the same capability. If you're facing a journey, a new situation, any circumstance requiring navigation, physical or metaphorical, your dreaming brain will model possibilities, prepare responses, ready you for tomorrow's challenges. Modern human social dynamics required even more sophisticated dream processing, navigating complex relationships, remembering who said what, predicting others' reactions, planning social strategies. All this complexity benefited from sleep processing. Your ancestors would dream about social situations they faced, their dreaming brains testing different approaches, predicting outcomes, preparing optimal strategies. They woke with social wisdom that seemed intuitive, but was actually the product of overnight processing. Your mind is very quiet now. Dream imagery beginning to flicker at the edges of consciousness as sleep approaches. Whatever challenge you're facing tomorrow, your hybrid brain will work on it tonight. Neanderthal visual spatial processing if it involves physical tasks or spatial reasoning. Denisovan adaptability if it requires flexibility and creative problem solving. Modern human social intelligence if it involves relationship navigation. Archaic African genetic diversity providing novel connections and unexpected insights, all working together while you sleep. The key to successful dream problem solving, your ancestors knew, was releasing attachment to the outcome.
Plant the question, then forget it.
Don't try to force solutions or control the dream. Trust the process. Your conscious mind created the problem by approaching it in limited ways. Your dreaming mind needs freedom to approach it differently, making connections your waking mind would never consider. Release control. Trust the ancient wisdom of dream processing. Your breathing is barely perceptible now, your body so relaxed it's almost floating, consciousness dissolving into dream space. Some nights you'll remember dreams clearly, waking with obvious insights and solutions. Other nights dreams will fade upon waking, but you'll notice throughout the day that you feel differently about the challenge, have new ideas, see possibilities you didn't see before. Both are successful dream processing. The insights don't have to be consciously remembered to influence your waking mind. Ancient dream practices included one more crucial element: gratitude upon waking. When Ice Age humans woke from dreams that provided guidance, they thanked the dream source, whether they conceived it as ancestors, spirits, or subconscious mind. This gratitude ritual reinforced the neural pathways between dreaming and waking minds, making future dream insights more accessible. You can practice this tomorrow upon waking. Thank your dreaming mind for whatever work it did overnight. Whether you remember specifics or not, rest completely now, releasing into dreams that will prepare tomorrow. Your brain knows what to do. It's been preparing tomorrow through dreams for hundreds of thousands of years across multiple human species. Neanderthals dreamed solutions to Ice Age challenges. Denisovans dreamed pathways across unknown continents. Your ancestors dreamed ways through every challenge they faced, and their dream-prepared solutions were successful enough that you exist.
That same capability is yours tonight.
Sleep deeply, dream wisely, and wake tomorrow with ancient wisdom refreshed and ready. Your dreaming brain is already beginning its work, making connections, testing possibilities, preparing you for success. Trust the process. Trust your hybrid brain. Trust 300,000 years of humans using dreams to prepare tomorrow. Dream well and wake ready. You're drifting in the deepest relaxation now, your consciousness barely tethered to waking awareness. And in this profound peace, we arrive at integration, bringing together everything you've learned tonight about your hybrid nature, your multi-species heritage, your ancient DNA gifts. Tomorrow morning you'll wake, and this knowledge will be part of you, permanently changing how you understand yourself and your place in the vast human family. Let this integration happen naturally as you surrender to sleep. 10,000 years ago, elders in every human community faced the same responsibility, ensuring wisdom survived into the next generation. They couldn't write it in books or store it digitally. They had to encode it in stories, in practices, in DNA itself. The wisdom you've received tonight is part of that ancient transmission, passed down through countless generations, waiting for the technology and understanding that would finally reveal what DNA has been trying to tell you all along. Feel yourself accepting this wisdom fully as your body becomes impossibly heavy, completely at rest. You are not purely one thing. You're not just Homo sapiens, not just modern human. You're a hybrid, a beautiful mixture of multiple human species, each one contributing specific gifts that help you survive and thrive. Neanderthal strength and caution, Denisovan adaptability and altitude mastery, archaic African diversity and deep-rooted resilience, modern human social intelligence and creative thinking. All of these are you. All of these are active in your daily life. This knowledge changes how you move through the world as your consciousness drifts toward dreams. When you face a challenge tomorrow that requires strength, you're not facing it with just your own strength. You're facing it with Neanderthal, Ice Age power encoded in your muscles. When you need to adapt to something new and unfamiliar, you have Denisovan flexibility genes refined through migration across entire continents. When social situations feel overwhelming, you have modern human social intelligence through 200,000 years of complex group living. You're never alone, never limited to just your individual resources. The stress that feels crushing sometimes has new context now, as your breathing becomes the barely perceptible rhythm of deep sleep. Modern life presents challenges your DNA never anticipated. Constant stimulation, artificial schedules, social media comparison, information overload. Your Ice Age body and brain weren't designed for these stresses. Knowing this doesn't remove the challenges, but it removes self-blame. You're not weak or broken. You're magnificently adapted for different circumstances, and your struggles represent the gap between ancient biology and modern environment. Not personal failure. Let compassion for yourself wash over you as consciousness fades. Your Neanderthal ancestors lived in small, stable groups where everyone knew everyone. Your DNA expects that social environment, not cities of millions or online networks of thousands. Your modern human ancestors followed natural light cycles, sleeping when dark, waking with sun. Your circadian rhythms expect that pattern, not artificial light and screens before bed. Your hybrid biology did its job perfectly for hundreds of thousands of years. The mismatch with modern life isn't your fault. Tomorrow, you wake with tools for bridging that mismatch. When overwhelmed, you can retreat to small, intimate social groups that match what your DNA expects. When exhausted, you can honor natural sleep patterns, including the ancient segmented sleep your ancestors practiced. When stressed, you can access ancient calming techniques, time in nature, communal fire, even candles work. Storytelling, Simple, repetitive tasks that quiet the mind.
These aren't New Age inventions.
They're prehistoric practices your DNA recognizes and responds to. Your mind is almost completely gone now, absorbed into sleep, but some awareness remains for final integration. You carry 300,000 years of successful human survival in your genes. Every ancestor who contributed DNA to you survived long enough to reproduce. Every single one overcame challenges, adapted to circumstances, found ways to thrive despite difficulties. That success pattern is in you, accessible when needed, proven effective across unimaginable time spans and environmental challenges. Feel the presence of successful ancestors surrounding your rest as you drift away completely. They're not disappointed in you.
They're not judging your struggles.
They're proud. You survived another day in circumstances they never imagined, using skills they gave you plus new skills you developed. You're continuing their success story, adapting their ancient gifts to modern contexts, proving once again that hybrid humans are survivors, adapters, capable of thriving in any environment, including the strange, artificial one modern civilization created. Tomorrow begins with you waking as a hybrid human who knows their heritage. Not just intellectually, but cellularly, your body understanding that it carries ancient gifts. Your mind accepting that it thinks with wisdom from multiple species. Your heart recognizing that you belong to the largest family imaginable, all of humanity across all time, united by shared mixed ancestry. This knowledge is protective, empowering, connecting.
You're not isolated or limited.
You're part of something vast and old and ultimately successful. Your breathing is barely detectable now, your body in the deepest rest, consciousness dissolved into sleep processing. The ancient wisdom you received tonight is being consolidated into long-term memory, integrated into your self-concept, woven into your understanding of who you are. Tomorrow you'll remember this evening, this journey through your genetic past, this discovery of your multi-species nature, and that remembering will change how you see yourself in mirrors, how you interpret your traits and tendencies, how you understand your place in human history. You are the dream your ancestors dreamed on cold Ice Age nights. Every generation that survived and reproduced was dreaming forward, imagining descendants who would carry their genes into the future. Their dream came true in you. You're the fulfillment of hundreds of thousands of years of hoping, striving, surviving, adapting, loving, creating families that bridged impossible divides between different human species. You're not an accident or an afterthought. You're the purpose, the goal, the successful outcome of the longest project in human history. Sleep now in complete peace, knowing tomorrow you carry ancient wisdom into modern challenges. Your hybrid nature is your strength. Your multi-species heritage is your advantage. Your DNA holds solutions refined over hundreds of millennia. Trust your body. Trust your instincts. Trust the ancient wisdom sleeping in your genes.
You are Neanderthal and Denisovan and modern human and archaic African. All of them united in you, working together, succeeding together.
Tomorrow continues the story they started, and you're ready to write your chapter with all the gifts they gave you.
Rest deeply.
Restore completely. Wake ready to live as the hybrid human you truly are. Complete surrender now. Your consciousness is dissolving, your body so deeply relaxed it feels part of the mattress, the pillow, the darkness surrounding you. This is the moment of final blessing, the ancient ritual that has closed every peaceful sleep for 300,000 years of human existence. Your ancestors, all of them, from every human species, from every generation, are gathering to bless your rest, to guard your sleep, to ensure you wake restored and ready. Let go completely. Let their love carry you into perfect rest. In caves scattered across Africa, Europe, and Asia, your ancestors are speaking blessings. Neanderthal elders in Ice Age caves, voices deep and resonant, blessing the sleep of their people. May the fire burn through darkness. May the walls keep out cold. May ancestors guard our dreams. May morning come with new chances. Their blessing crosses 50,000 years to reach you tonight. Ancient words in forgotten languages still carrying the power of protection they held in those firelit caves. Feel that blessing settling over you like fur blankets, your Neanderthal ancestors wrapped around sleeping children. Denisovan voices join from mountain caves in Central Asia, blessing sleep in their unknown language. May heights protect us from those below. May thin air strengthen our lungs. May stars guide our dreams. May snow bring clarity with dawn. Their blessing comes from 80,000 years ago, from people who stood 8 feet tall and breathed air too thin for others to survive. Their protection surrounds you now. Mountain strength and high-altitude peace flowing down through generations until it reaches you in this moment. Your breathing is almost invisible now, your heartbeat slow and steady as modern human blessings join from African camps 200,000 years ago. May families surround us in sleep. May stories guide our dreaming. May ancestors walk beside us. May tomorrow bring the hunt's success and the gathering's abundance. This is the oldest modern human blessing, spoken under African stars that still shine above tonight, connecting you across impossible time to the birthplace of your species. Feel African warmth wrapping around you, the original human blessing holding you safe. Archaic African voices emerge from even deeper time, 500,000 years ago, from humans whose names we'll never know but whose DNA you carry. Their blessing is almost beyond language, more feeling than words, but you understand it in your cells. Survive, adapt, continue, protect the young. Remember the old, pass forward what matters. Sleep safe. This blessing predates complex language, predates modern anatomy, predates everything except the fundamental human drive to protect loved ones through vulnerable night hours. That ancient protection surrounds you now. Feel yourself sinking into total surrender as all these blessings merge. 4 human species speaking as one, their voices harmonizing across time and space, all saying the same essential truth. You are safe. You are protected.
Sleep deeply. We watch over you.
Morning will come. You will wake restored. This is humanity's oldest lullaby, sung in 10,000 variations, but always carrying the same meaning. Tonight it's sung for you by ancestors who survived so you could exist, who overcame every challenge so their genes could reach you. Your consciousness is almost completely gone now, just the barest thread connecting you to waking awareness. And in this threshold moment, the deepest blessing arrives, not from any specific time or place or species, but from the unified human family spanning all time, all places, all variations of what it means to be human. You are ours. You belong to us. Every human who ever lived is your family. Every species that contributed to you is proud of you. You are the living proof that love transcends boundaries. You are the successful experiment in hybrid vigor. You are the continuation of the oldest story. Sleep, beloved child of humanity. Sleep safe in the embrace of 300,000 years of love. Feel that blessing penetrating every cell as your body releases completely into sleep. Your Neanderthal DNA glows with Ice Age fire, providing warmth and strength while you rest. Your Denisovan genes pulse with mountain power, giving you endurance and adaptability that will serve tomorrow's challenges. Your modern human heritage shines with social warmth, connecting you to every other human through shared ancestry. Your archaic African roots run deep into Earth's oldest human soil, grounding you in humanity's deepest origins. All of this is you. All of this is active. All of this is protecting your sleep right now. The blessing continues in the silence as consciousness dissolves. Your immune system works while you sleep, Neanderthal genes defending you against threats. Your brain processes memories, Denisovan adaptability integrating new learning. Your body repairs itself, modern human efficiency optimizing every system. Your DNA expresses exactly what you need tonight, archaic African diversity providing tools for whatever tomorrow brings. Sleep is when your hybrid nature does its best work.
Let it work.
Trust the process. Surrender completely. You're barely here now, almost entirely in dream space, but some small part of you hears the final words of the ancient blessing. You survived today.
That makes you successful.
You adapted to challenges your ancestors never imagined. That makes you worthy. You're alive in a time when DNA testing finally reveals your true heritage. That makes you blessed. Sleep now knowing you are exactly what 300,000 years of evolution intended to create. A hybrid human mixing the best of all human species, capable of surviving anything, ready to face any challenge. We are so proud of you.
Rest in our love.
Wake in our strength. Continue our story into tomorrow. Complete dissolution now. Your body isn't yours anymore. It's returned to the earth that gave it substance. Your mind isn't individual. It's merged with the collective human consciousness spanning all time. Your DNA isn't just genetic code. It's a love letter from everyone who came before, all of them speaking through your existence. You are not alone. You have never been alone. You are surrounded by the largest family imaginable, protected by the longest chain of successful survival, blessed by ancestors from multiple human species, all united in loving you. The darkness is complete. The silence is profound. Your breathing is barely detectable. Your consciousness has released its grip on waking awareness and surrendered to sleep's ancient embrace. But you're not unconscious, you're differently conscious, experiencing the dream state your DNA has refined over hundreds of thousands of years. This is where your brain does its deepest work, where your body performs its most important repairs, where your hybrid nature expresses itself most fully. Neanderthal ancestors stand watch at the north of your sleeping form, representing strength, caution, ice age endurance. They will guard this direction through the night, ensuring no threat approaches from the cold places. Denisovan ancestors stand watch at the east, representing adaptability, exploration, mountain mastery. They guard the direction of sunrise, preparing the way for tomorrow's opportunities. Modern human ancestors stand watch at the south, representing social wisdom, creativity, language. They guard the warm direction, maintaining connection to community and belonging. Archaic African ancestors stand watch at the west, representing deep roots, ancient diversity, humanity's origins. They guard the direction of sunset, honoring what came before, maintaining continuity with deepest past. You sleep at the center of this protective circle, held safe by all four directions, all four human lineages, all four sources of your DNA. Nothing can harm you here. No nightmare can overwhelm the protection of 300,000 years of successful human survival. No anxiety can penetrate the circle guarded by multiple species worth of ancestors. No fear can survive in the presence of this much love, stretching across this much time. You are absolutely, completely, perfectly safe. Your body knows this at the deepest cellular level. Your nervous system has released all defensive tension, all preparedness for threat, all vigilance against danger. You are profoundly vulnerable in sleep, and that vulnerability is possible only because protection is certain. Your ancestors proved the pattern works. They slept vulnerably for hundreds of thousands of years and survived to become your ancestors. Their successful sleep pattern is your inheritance.
Trust it, surrender to it.
Let it work exactly as it worked for them. The blessing continues in the silence of deep sleep. Your heart beats with the rhythm of 10,000 generations. Your breath flows with the pattern of millions of ancestors. Your dreams process experiences using wisdom from multiple human species. Your rest restores using techniques refined across ice ages and migrations and countless challenges. You are sleeping the way humans were meant to sleep. Protected, blessed, surrounded by love, held safe in the embrace of the entire human family across all time. This is your birthright.
This is your inheritance.
Sleep deeply in this knowing. Time dissolves in deep sleep. Minutes feel like hours.
Hours feel like minutes.
The clock's measurement becomes meaningless as you enter the dream time your ancestors knew. Flexible time, mythic time, time measured by internal cycles rather than external mechanisms. Your REM sleep carries you through landscapes your ancestors walked. Your deep sleep regenerates your body using processes perfected over hundreds of thousands of years. Your sleep stages cycle in patterns all human species shared. Your hybrid DNA orchestrating the dance of restoration that happens every night for every human. The ancient blessing fades to silence as you sink into the deepest sleep, but its protection remains. Neanderthal strength in your bones, Denisovan adaptability in your genes,
Modern human connection in your heart.
archaic African roots in your very being. All of it working together while you sleep, preparing you for tomorrow, restoring what today depleted, integrating new learning, processing complex emotions, solving problems your waking mind couldn't solve, dreaming dreams that may contain guidance and wisdom. You are sleeping now as your ancestors slept, deeply, safely, protected by blessings spoken across impossible time, guarded by genetic wisdom encoded in your DNA, held in the embrace of the largest family that exists. Tomorrow you will wake as a hybrid human who knows their heritage. Tonight you rest as humans have always rested, in peace, in safety, in the certain knowledge that you belong to something vast and ancient and ultimately successful. The final whisper of the ancient blessing drifts through your dreams. Sleep well, hybrid human.
You are ours.
We are yours. Together we are humanity, past, present, future, united across time by shared DNA and shared love.
Rest in us. Wake for us.
Continue our story. We have been waiting 300,000 years to bless you tonight. Receive our blessing in sleep.
Carry our love into tomorrow.
You are the answer to every hope we ever held. Sleep now. Wake blessed.
Live knowing you are exactly what you were meant to be. Silence. Darkness. Perfect rest.
Your consciousness fully dissolved into sleep. Your body profoundly relaxed. Your ancestors standing eternal watch. The ancient blessing complete. Protection absolute.
Safety certain. Love surrounding.
Restoration happening. Sleep. 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 The ancient blessing protects you through all the hours of darkness, through every dream cycle, through the deep restoration your body needs. And when morning comes, when light begins to return, when your consciousness starts the slow journey back to waking awareness, you will rise blessed by 300,000 years of human survival, protected by DNA from multiple species, ready to face whatever tomorrow brings with all the gifts your hybrid nature provides. For now, only sleep. Deep, ancient, protected, blessed sleep. Welcome home to the rest your ancestors knew. Welcome home to the sleep your DNA expects. Welcome home to the peace that comes from knowing you're part of humanity's longest, largest, most successful family. Sleep, beloved hybrid human. Your ancestors watch over you. Their blessing surrounds you. Their love protects you. Sleep until morning calls you back. Wake restored, blessed and ready. The ancient blessing is complete. The protection is established. The circle is unbroken. Sleep now in perfect peace.